St. Louis, Missouri, Gateway International Raceway. Stop number 5 on the 24-race, $12 million NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Tour, the Ram Tough 200. Hopefully coming your way. Right now we're in a bit of a weather delay. We've had some pretty significant rain showers move across the racetrack in the last hour and a half or 2 hours. The good news is those heavy showers have moved away. It's a bit of a sprinkle now, and we already have track drying underway here at Gateway International Raceway. The trucks are lined up on pit road, 36 strong. A full field of trucks are lined up ready to race, and hopefully we'll get racing underway very shortly. I'm Jerry Punch along with Phil Parsons. Glad to have you with us. And Phil, the good news is that the big heavy stuff has moved away within the last 20 or 30 minutes.
It sure has, Jerry. We had some pretty, as you mentioned, pretty significant rain earlier, but track drying is going on. I thought that the bigger of the two trucks was going really well. He was pulling away from the small one, so we had a little bit of racing going on. But, you know, right now the guys are trying to, you know, get adjusted because, you lead up all morning to, to race time. And then when it starts raining and you know you're going to be delayed, it just changes your whole, your whole being. So the guys are trying to, say, hey, we got to get back in the game, get our game face back on and get ready to go.
Well, the good news is yesterday they had rain here that delayed the start of the ARCA REMAX Challenge Series event, and this track dried in about an hour. They have a number of jet dryers here. They have the trucks on the racetrack, and the promoters here told the drivers in the meeting this morning, guys, we have lights. We have a lot of things to get this track dry, and with the wind picking up, the track should dry pretty quickly.
I think so. Brian Uleone, as you mentioned, the vice president, general manager of the Speedway, told the guys that we'll turn the lights on, we'll turn heaters on, whatever it takes to get this race in today.
Well, we told you that we've had 4 events this year. We had a 4-week break after Martinsville. But what happened in the first 4 events of the year? Let's take you back and show you how it all began at the World Center of Racing in Daytona back in February. Unrestricted trucks pushed furious speed to the high banks of Daytona as Joe Ruttman captured the win and $10,000 bonus for winning from the pole. Homestead saw the 2-truck team of Ultra Motorsports fly by the competition as Ted Musgrave smoked the field and picked up his first career Truck Series victory. Aggressive driving in Bakersfield left most drivers bruised and beaten, but a confident Musgrave held nothing back as he won his 2nd consecutive race. The short track punishment continued at Martinsville as Scott Riggs had to overcome early contact to regain the lead and hold on for an emotional win. As of the 4 events, we've had the different winners, and of course, and 2 first-time winners that you saw with Ted Musgrave and Scott Riggs. Now, how about the guy who won the very first event of the year, became the oldest driver to win in the history of NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action, 56 years, 4 months of age, but he still looks 35. He's standing by with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Doc, he's just a youngster in racing terms. Joe, we just saw the highlights there of your big win in Daytona, and we're talking about a great season you've got started here.
Well, first off, we're not going to talk about Rule Gate. The rules. I'm not gonna work on the rules any at all. Right, Mr. Cook? Okay, look at him smile over there. You cheater, you. Oh.
There's been a lot of politicking going on down here, folks.
Believe I don't get involved in that stuff. I'm going to win the championship and get some more benefits next year. But that's behind us, so we won't discuss that.
Well, let's talk about this racetrack, because each time you've come to this track, you've had a better finish in the 3 previous races here.
We've discussed that earlier. I don't know what it is. Bobby, if you're listening, we're trying awful hard, by the way. We're not doing real good, but I don't know. I just don't. There's a couple tracks, and this is one of them I've been snake bit at. I'm going to say that, but we're giving her all we can. We're off right now, and we've made some changes, and hopefully we can dig a little harder, when the race starts, which it will. It'll just be a matter of time.
Now, do you make those changes because of what the weather's done to the racetrack, or just what you had planned previously before today?
No, we got out there with about 4 or 5 other trucks and found out we can't keep up, so either you change and get beat worse, or change and hopefully you get closer. And that's what we've done. We've just, we made some changes, and I guess I want to say I'm in the middle of it, so I don't want to throw everything on Danny. Danny, it wasn't your fault completely. We talked about it, so if it looks bad, I'm going to take some of the gas on this thing too. But it's we made some changes, and hopefully it's going to improve us. We were getting beat. In happy hour, there was 4 or 5 trucks quicker than we were, so we just sat down and looked our book over real good and said, here's where we need to improve, and we've worked on it. We're going to find out. Fred was up there talking to me earlier along with Jack, and I think we discussed part of our changes with us, and I don't think Fred agrees with it, so we're going to find out if either it's going to be Fred or Joe that's right.
All right, that's Joe Ruttman, our winner at Daytona. We need to hear from some of the other Dodge drivers there with Amy East.
Well, we have seen that the Ultra Motorsports team has been ultra successful, with Homestead and Bakersfield going to the newcomer to the series with a lot of experience, Ted Musgrave. Let's talk about those wins. Did you expect to come into the Truck Series and win so quickly and have a dominant truck week in and week out?
Well, not really. I mean, we expected to do well, but we got off to a really good start. But then again, it just, goes back to the team, what we put together there, and the group of guys that's doing it, and then Mopar being a sponsor, giving us everything that we need back there to, to make it happen. But yeah, there's been a lot of surprises, and things have worked out our way so far this year, except for 2 races. But other than that, we've been good.
Let's talk about today. You are our pole sitter, and what seemed to be a surprise to most of us, because like Bakersfield, you didn't get a sticker run. And then happy hour was rained out. So how much do you guys know about that race truck?
Well, hopefully a little more than the other guys, because that's kind of what we did when we unloaded, is we just worked on a race program, and that's why you didn't see a big speed up there. And we never really did, like you say, put the stickers on the truck and tape it up, make a run. We were going to, but we ran out of time. So when it came qualifying time, it was a surprise to me too that it went that well. And actually, when I got done with it, Amy, I thought for sure that it was going to be beat, because there was still more there, but I just didn't get it all out of me into the race truck.
Well, Ted Musgrave has proven that he's been very strong all season, but his teammate, Scott Riggs, who's coming off of your first truck win at Martinsville, you've had a great season also, and you're our points leader thus far. Let's talk about the excitement that you had at Martinsville, though, with that first win. That was really exciting to see you in victory lane.
Oh, yeah, that was incredible to me, because it was a racetrack that was actually close enough for me to be for me to have a lot of family and friends there at the racetrack with me, and to be able to win my first one right there at Martinsville, where I've not had a lot of luck in my late model stock career there, but to be able to go back there, that was the first race I ran last year, and to be able to go back there this year and with a great team, Ultra Motorsports, those guys, and Jim Smith gave me the opportunity to be with his team. Timmy Cahoot puts a great bunch of guys together, my crew chief, and Team ASE being a great best sponsor, in my opinion, in the series, and Dodge with their huge support in the series and our truck. And, it was pretty incredible, and so far everybody keeps talking about the, the points lead and all that, but, we're just trying to do what we set out to do this year, and that's to try to finish in the top 5 every single race we can, and hopefully win as many as we can this year. And, we're just going to keep our focus on doing that.
Well, Scott Riggs will roll off in the 4th starting position today. And, guys, it looks like this Ultra team has kept that momentum on this 3-week break and carried it right here to Gateway.
Exactly, Amy. Thank you very much. We'll show you the point standings. Scott Riggs holds a slim 27-point lead over Joe Ruttman. Riggs, as you heard, getting his first win and only his 23rd NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series start. Just his 4th start of the season. There's Ruttman back in 2nd spot. Ricky Hendrick, the rookie, back in 3rd spot. Terry Cook had his best finish of the year at Martinsville, finishing 3rd up there. He's in 4th. And Randy Tolsma, 4 consecutive top 10 finishes with a damaged truck at Martinsville. Still sits in 5th spot in the points, just 76 points separating the top 5, Phil.
Doc, actually all 5 guys, the top 5 guys in points, have been in the top 10 in each of the 4 races. So incredible consistency there.
Jack Sprague, a 2-time champion, back in 6th spot. There's Musgrave, who had the rear end gear problems, finished 22nd at Martinsville, back in 7th. He lost 3 spots by virtue of that 22nd place finish. Travis Quapple, runner-up in Martinsville for the 2nd time this year, finished 2nd. He is a rookie, back in 8th spot. Rick Crawford, his best finish of the year coming at Martinsville. Crawford finished 7th. He is 9th in points. And Coy Gibbs, the youngest son of Joe and Pat Gibbs, in 10th spot, less than 200 points out of the lead. So a very, very tight top 10 in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series points. We are in a rain delay situation. Track drying is ongoing. Back with more from Gateway International in just a moment. NASCAR racing action exclusively on ESPN. We are proud to be the home of all 24 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series events. We are back at Gateway International Raceway in a bit of a rain delay, waiting to get the Ram Tough 200 started. I'm Jerry Punch, along with Phil Parsons, Amy East, and Ray Dunlap covering the action on pit road. Now, a moment ago, our pit announcers commented about the fact that there was a rule change that went into effect this past week that will become effective with this race here. And why the rule change? Well, we'll show you the Dodgers have dominated the first 4 events of the season. In fact, they have won all 4 poles and all 4 races, as the Dodge teams have led 634 of 770 laps, and that precipitated a rule change, Phil, which I think some of the Ford teams are pretty excited about.
Well, they really are. That was certainly domination. What NASCAR did, due to wind tunnel testing last year and some on-track performance this year, they decided to tweak the rules a little bit. They felt like Dodge was at the top of the heap as far as overall downforce, so they took a little bit of the downforce away from them. They felt like Ford was at the bottom of the chart on downforce, so they added a little bit to them. They felt like Chevrolet was in the middle, so they left them alone. So they tried to get Dodge to come down a little bit, Ford to go up a little bit to meet Chevrolet in the middle.
And essentially what they did is they lowered the Ford front air dam by about 1/4 of an inch. They raised the Dodge front air dam by 1/2 an inch. They had changed the positioning of the spoiler in the back of that Ford truck to give it some more downforce on the rear. They narrowed the spoiler on the Dodge by 1 inch on either side. And if qualifying is any indication, where we have a Dodge, Ford, and Chevrolet 1, 2, and 3, then you got to give an attaboy to Wayne Alton, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series director, for making the field playing field even more level. But let's find out from one of the Ford drivers who had a pretty good qualifying run as he's standing by down in the garage area.
And, Jerry, that would be Terry Cook, who did have a great qualifying effort. This is the same truck you ran at Martinsville, had a great race there. How's it feel here at St. Louis?
Oh, it's been perfect. The Kia Automotive Ford F-150, from the time we rolled off the trailer until race now, we have not changed one spring, one sway bar. We tried a couple different shot combinations and ended up back with what we rolled off the trailer. So we've been perfect since we unloaded, we feel.
Great start to the season here. I know you got to be ecstatic. With this team changing from Dodge to Ford, I thought it would be a lot tougher for them, and they've really rolled right along.
Well, I thought it'd be a lot tougher than it was, but, I mean, whenever you can have the resources of Bob and Ron Keselowski, I mean, the two knowledgeable people have been involved in racing for years and years, and they know how to build race-winning vehicles, and I think we've proven that in the first 4 races.
Tell me about your experiences here at St. Louis.
Well, so far it's been great. You know, Ford has come out with a little bit different aero package, NASCAR mandated for this race, and, you know, we've heard the Dodge people whining all weekend long about the rule changes. You know, all I can tell you is look at the qualifying results. You've got one Ford in the top 10. You know, sure, we rolled off. We've been lightning fast since we've been here. We led practice. But you know what? We had a great truck at Martinsville. It's the same truck. So we're on top of our game right now, and that, I think, has a lot to do with the Kia Automotive team running up front. I'm sure the rule change sure helped us a little bit, but if it was that big of a change, I think you'd see the top 5 or top 10 littered with Fords, and again, you only see one in the top 10.
Well, these guys are on top of their game, and that's got Terry Cook 4th in the NASCAR Craftsman Series truck points. Amy?
Well, young Ricky Hendrick has had a great season thus far in the GMAC Chevrolet. Ricky, you're not too happy about Gateway. I remember you had some trouble here in the Busch car last year, and I think you probably want this place to owe you one, huh?
Yeah, I hope so. You know, right? We're real tight right now. We unloaded real tight. Qualified 9th. The guys have done a great job so far, but the race will start hopefully when we get this GMAC Chevrolet up front.
Now, this is a brand new truck, I understand, that you guys are running here. How did it feel in the limited amount of practice that you guys have? And do you feel as though you'll have to make a lot of adjustments with this green track that we'll be racing on this evening?
Well, you know, like I said, we're real tight as soon as we unloaded, real tight in qualifying and real tight in happy hour. The guys, you know, slept on it last night and come back this morning and made a lot of changes to free it up. So, you know, we should be pretty good. If not, then we can make some changes early on right in the pit stop.
Well, Ricky Hendrick is very lucky to have one of the best drivers at Gateway International and a teammate of Jack Sprague. Over half the laps led here at Gateway has been with you, Jack. You love this place. You dominated the event last year. You have a really good truck qualifying 3rd. Can you repeat that victory today?
Well, it surely would be nice. We've had a little bit of a rocky start. Not terrible, but not the way exactly I don't think we imagined it. But you know, we came here with the same setup we ran last year, and unfortunately with a new tire it didn't work, so we've had to scramble around a little bit and change things, and it was a brand new truck, so we had a little bugs in her, and that took us about an hour to get out, so unfortunately that left us with an hour of practice. So you know, qualified a half second faster than we'd run all day in practice, and in happy hour I was fairly pleased. Dennis has done a great job, and the guys have done a great job, and we changed it a little bit this morning, and if it gets a little better, I think we'll have a real good shot at it. If it's the same as it was, we'll still have a okay shot at it. So all we can do is hope the Net Zero Platinum Chevrolet runs like it did last year. And, man, we need to win a race bad.
Well, last year you never stopped and took on left side tires. Now this is a new tire. Do you think that you might be able to go the entire race on the original left sides?
I'm sure it's possible. It's going to depend on how the truck's working. If I feel like I need the less just because the new will stick a little better than what I have, you know, that would have to wait and see. But if he's made the truck better at all than it was last night in happy hour, which I only needed a little bit, it's very possible. But again, you know, we're probably gonna race into the night, so track probably be a little tighter than it was even last night, and we've loosened up quite a bit. So you know, all we can do is hope for the best. But like I said, we need to win a race and need to start getting a Chevrolet in victory lane instead of all them Dodges.
Well, with the rule changes, we're hoping that the Fords, Chevrolets, and Dodges are on an equal playing field here at Gateway. And if anyone has a chance to put a Chevrolet in victory lane, it's got to be Jack Sprague.
Well, he was the gatekeeper here a year ago, led 145 of 160 laps, got his first win of the season here last year, and then won 2 of the next 3, going on to win, win at Memphis, and then also won at Evergreen on June 3rd, and has not won since June 3rd of a year ago. Hopefully he'll get his winning streak started again very, very soon. Now, we are waiting to get underway with the Ram Tough 200. We told you we've been off for 4 weeks, but we get very busy coming up. 10 of the next 12 weeks, NASCAR Craftsman trucks will be on our air, and we go for the first time to the track Too Tough to Tame. Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina, next Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern time for the Darlington 200. Yeah, the 1.366-mile egg-shaped oval. And how about going out to Pikes Peak International Raceway, beautiful 1-mile facility in Fountain, Colorado. That is Sunday, May 20th, 4 Eastern time for the Jelly Belly 200, the beginning of a 12-week stretch including 10 NASCAR Craftsman truck events. Back with more from Gateway in a moment. Back in St. Louis, baseball, pretty good, pretty popular around here. Had some pretty good hitters in the St. Louis area over the years, and these are some of the, I think some of the Ed Renzi, Randy Tolsma crew members down there. Looks like we got a right-handed hitter there, and
it's like a jack handle for
a jack handle, I think.
Hit him! Oh, he's going after him.
We could have a tangle right here. Here comes an official in to break it up, and folks, we have it all here on the Worldwide Leader. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action. We are in track drying right now here at Gateway, so let's check in the garage area with Ray Dunlap. Ray?
Well, the highest qualified rookie is Matt Crafton. He drives number 88, and he'll start 8th today. But here's the question. You've never even seen this track before. You came in here yesterday, so how'd you go so fast?
I don't know. Actually, we've had real good success on flat tracks in the Southwest Tour. I've liked the flat tracks, like this place, and we've done real good at Phoenix. Yeah, the most I'd seen in this place when I pulled in back straightaway yesterday, looked down coming off 2, I said, okay, this looks interesting. Some long drag strips, real tight. This is kind of huge Martinsville in a way, I figure. But never did even go look at the front straightaway until I went down the front straightaway.
Now, this truck that you're driving raced a lot last year, 007, kind of your old faithful. Do you like it?
Yeah, 007. This is it. Actually, this is the first time I've raced this truck. Terry liked this. Was Terry's favorite truck, I think, out of the bunch. And this is the first time I get to race this truck this year.
Tell me about your rookie year in trucks. How do you like it?
I'm loving it. I mean, we're having a lot of fun. We've had a lot of good runs. We've had a lot of bad luck, but we're looking to turn that around. We turned that around at Martinsville. Looking like we're going to have a good run here today. We had a real good qualifying run, best one of the year. I think we'll have a good run also.
What do you think about strategy? Is this rain going to change the way everybody approaches this race?
We're going to all shoot for about lap 81, and then hopefully it starts raining, and maybe we're out of gas on 82. But that's, I think, what a lot of people are going to be shooting for. That's probably what we're going to be shooting for. Get gas early, come in, and hopefully we can make it to the 81, 82, and get the halfway and get the checkered flag.
That'd be cool. Matt Crafton, our highest qualified rookie. Now back up to the booth.
Thanks very much, Ray. Matt Crafton finished at 6th at Martinsville just 4 weeks ago. Got his best finish of the year. In fact, he was running 4th and had ran out of gas on the final lap, or actually had lost 2 cylinders. He had lost a cylinder with 2 laps to go and lost another cylinder on the final lap. So on 6 cylinders, he finishes 6th, his best finish of the year. So good for Matt Crafton, the reigning Featherlight Southwest Series champion. Now, last night, NASCAR Winston Cup action at Richmond International Raceway under the lights, and some interested NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series owners and competitors were up there. Joe Gibbs Racing. Congratulations to Joe Gibbs and Tony Stewart, all the Home Depot folks, for their first win of the year. Bobby Labonte, reigning Winston Cup champion. The Interstate Batteries team finishing in 10th spot. So Joe logs a 1st and 10th up at Richmond as we go down and check in the Gibbs camp with Amy.
And Joe Gibbs' son, Coy Gibbs, has been a regular on the Truck Series so far this season and started off with a lot of momentum, and it all seemed to go away at Martinsville. Unfortunately, you knew I was going to ask you about Martinsville. We were really disappointed. You spun out in qualifying, but you did get into another truck and compete to keep yourself in the points. What did that do to the team morale?
Well, I mean, I think it kills it. You can let it kill a team, you know, something big like that happening. But, you know, under Gary's supervision, all the guys kind of bounced back, and we just did the best we could with the weekend. I felt like an idiot for doing that, but, you know, I think things will happen like that. Hopefully we can turn around here. We didn't qualify very well, but I think we got a good truck that'll race well.
Well, the Gary that he's talking about is Gary Showalter, who's had a lot of success in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. How much of a valuable asset has Gary been to you? And also, we see Curtis Markham around the garage area a lot as your spotter and driver's coach.
Yeah, Gary's been great. You know, he's been to every truck race since inception, so his knowledge has helped out a lot. And then we got, you know, his whole family basically here, and Cindy and Bobby and Chris. So it's a real, you know, team family network we got going with all the guys. He brought a lot of other guys to the crew that helped and brought some you know, some knowledge to us. But Curtis is great. Just the fact that he's another driver. He's been through everything. You can bounce ideas off him, talk to him. And, you know, he's already been there before, so it just helps me as a driver to have someone that I can talk to that's already driven the track, probably, you know, way more than I'll ever drive a track.
Well, I think Coy Gibbs has started off to a good season, and although he had that little mishap at Martinsville, you can't count out Coy Gibbs.
Indeed, Amy. He is 10th in points. His best finish thus far, the season opener at Daytona, where he finished 7th. His career best NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series finish. Well, crowd is filing back in. The rain has moved away. We are drying back at Gateway in just a moment. Welcome back to Gateway International Raceway. A few raindrops still falling, but essentially the heavy stuff has moved away and track drying is ongoing. Now, yesterday, the ARCA REMAX Series was here, and two-time and defending champion Frank Kimmel was able to hold on and take the win in their 5th stop of the year for ARCA competition. He qualified 3rd, and the Jeffersonville, Indiana driver took the Advanced Auto Parts Ford, or I should say Chevrolet, to victory lane here. Now, today he is scheduled to make his 8th ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series start. His best finish at 9th at Homestead back in 1996. And let's talk to the reigning ARCA champion. Ray?
Well, you got a lot of practice at this winning a race at the halfway in the rain, so what's your strategy going to be today? The same thing?
Well, I'll tell you, last night, about 59 laps into that race, I really like to see the rain. It come down pretty hard. I was pretty pleased, but this morning when it started raining, I didn't like it at all. But the opportunity to drive a truck this weekend came about, and thank Joey Sontag and his entire team for letting me do it. But we'll try to do the best we can today.
Now, you really had a dominant car yesterday. How about this truck?
I don't think we'll do what we did yesterday with the truck, but, you know, if we can run all day and try to be competitive, get a top 15, top 10 finish, would be really good for our entire team and for me. And, you know, just great. That Advanced Auto Parts car was great last night.
How much difference is there in the feel from the driver's seat when you get out of a car one day, then into a truck the next?
Well, I think it helps me a lot because you get a lot more laps on the racetrack. This is only the 2nd time I've ever been here. So to do the car and then hop in the truck and come back, they do drive a lot different. I was really surprised at how loose the truck felt compared to our car. Our car was tight all weekend, and to get in this truck, I expected it to be really tight also, but it wasn't. So we had to work on 2 different areas to try to get the thing fixed up. The crew did a great job on both vehicles, so hopefully our truck will run as good as we did yesterday.
And Lance Hooper has a great deal of experience in the trucks, and he'll be your crew chief today.
Yeah, Lance is doing a great job. I know how tough it is to come and do these things and have somebody else driving the truck that you'd like to be driving. And he's been very, very supportive and done a great job with the truck. Anything we wanted to try or do, you know, he's not questioned me at all. And he's done a good job. We qualified 17th. And I think for our team and that level, this is a tough bunch, so we're pretty pleased.
Absolutely. Frank Kimmel, the point leader in the ARCA REMAX Series, getting ready to go truck racing, Doc.
And, you know, we're seeing more and more where the ARCA Series is scheduling with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on doubleheader weekends, and we're seeing some crossover among some of the NASCAR Craftsman truck drivers going to run ARCA in the stock cars, and the ARCA guys like the defending champion coming here to run the NASCAR Craftsman trucks.
I'd say it's a great series, a great, you know, started out as a Midwestern series. My brother Benny got his start in that series, was a 2-time ARCA champion, just like Frank Kimmel. I was fortunate enough to drive a few races back early in my career in the ARCA series, and it's a great training ground for the Craftsman Truck Series, or possibly even onto the Winston Cup Series. So love seeing the ARCA guys at the same racetracks as the Craftsman Truck Series.
And I hope AG folks didn't see the show yesterday, but it was a heck of a race here with Frank Kimmel and some of the guys. And Jason Jarrett, Dale Jarrett's his oldest son, is running in the ARCA Series this year. And Jason finished qualified 2nd and finished 7th in this race, you know, driving the ML Motorsports Pontiac. So good run for the Jarrett family for the weekend. Track drying is ongoing here at Gateway International Raceway. We're hoping to get the track completely dry and get underway with the Ram Tough 200. Since the first NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race in 1995, Jim Smith has...
Slow down, slow down, slow down.
In the last 7 years, NASCAR has watched the Craftsman Truck Series grow from a big idea to the big time. When team owner Jim Smith and 4 other entrepreneurs presented the idea of racing trucks to NASCAR, they had no idea how big it would become.
going to Daytona was very big for this sport, and winning the inaugural Daytona was even bigger. I mean, anybody that watches truck racing, it's the best racing. There's no question, I don't think about that. And this series, you know, it's still only, we're going on our 7th year now, so it's still a youngster. The truck racing is like Winston Cup was 15 years ago, 20 years ago. We have camaraderie that you know, you're not, you know, you don't have the tension of that $12 million sponsor looking over your head. But the truck series is just still a real fun series to be in.
For an owner, you know, everybody thinks, okay, you know, Jim Smith is, you know, just a truck owner, but he's a people person too. He tries to take care of your crew, he takes care of the drivers, and he wants to make sure you're happy and things are going right. In return, he wants you to do 110%.
He is wide open is the only way I can describe him, actually. He is the kind of guy that's very intense when it comes to his racing. On the other hand, his main #1 goal, he always tells everyone, the reason we're here is to make sure I want everybody to have fun and have a good time with it.
But I've let that #1 goal, and that's that NASCAR Craftsman Truck Championship, slip through my fingers for the last 4 years. And we are bound and determined not to let it slip through our fingers this year.
In order to achieve that goal, Smith made some dramatic changes for the 2001 season, switching from Ford to Dodge, adding a second team to his stable, and recruiting 2 drivers who had never run full-time in the truck series. With 3 wins in 4 races, Ultra Motorsports is looking ultra successful in its bid to deliver Jim Smith his first NASCAR championship.
He's been in the series since day one. You know, he was one of the founders of this Craftsman Truck Series, so I think he's very well deserving of a championship. I know a lot of the other truck owners have won championships and have moved on or quit the series. Jim has been dedicated to this thing for a long time, so, you know, he's another one that's well deserving of a trophy here.
His team deserves to win every pole and win every race because the guys at this shop, I mean, the 1 and the 2 truck, you know, they all work very hard, and they deserve to win races.
The goal here at Ultra Motorsports is to get both these trucks, you know, 1 and 2 in the points if we possibly can. And whichever one wins, well, the way, we don't care. We just want them both up front all the time. We want to try and get as many wins as possible.
That's what I expect out of myself. That's what those guys expect out of me, and vice versa.
We do have winning teams here. We do have winning trucks. We have the winning personnel, and we know we can carry this on throughout the season.
You know, to be able to be leading right now, and, you know, it seems like our momentum just keeps getting stronger and stronger. You know, if we can win the championship, I wouldn't be able to stay seated.
Well, Jimmy Smith certainly a major part of the history of this NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and we said he was one of 4 men who originally built trucks, took him to Daytona in 1994, showed them to Bill French Jr. and Mike Hilton, Les Richter, and all the guys said, I think this series will really go, and they decided, let's build those trucks and take off. You know, at Martinsville, this was the 150th race in the history of the series, and they were honoring all the people who had been there for 150 races, and Jim Smith was going to get a plaque, going to get an award. But even more important to him, he was in California. He's very involved with a charity to help raise money for abused children. He was out in California doing what he thought was important in his heart, and so they accepted the award on his behalf. So he certainly is a tremendous individual and has had a major part in helping a lot of folks, not only in NASCAR racing, but also people who can't help themselves.
That's right. That shows you what kind of guy Jim Smith is. I mean, he could have been there to get the accolades at Martinsville, but it was more important to him to raise some money for some abused children.
And if anyone deserves winning a championship in this NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, I believe it's him. And right now, his trucks are doing pretty darn well in the point standings. We are continuing with track drying here at Gateway International Raceway. Back hoping to get the Ram Tough 200 underway very shortly. Back in just a moment. Missouri, I'm Jerry Punch, along with Phil Parsons, Amy East, and Ray Dunlap as track drying continues for the Ram Tough 200. I want to welcome those of you who join us on Armed Forces Radio and Television. More than 800,000 servicemen and women in 170 countries, and approximately 100,000 sailors and Marines on board U.S. Navy ships that are able to tune in to our telecast of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, courtesy of Armed Forces Radio and Television. From all of us at ESPN, thank you and your families for the sacrifices you make. It's because of you that we all sleep under a blanket of freedom each and every night. And we thank you. Thank you for watching our shows, and we appreciate all your efforts. Well, we talked about the track drying is ongoing here, Phil. There has been some news breaking in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series this week. In fact, a couple of trucks are shuffling around a little bit. The John Menard truck of Brian Reffner is not here. We are told that they have sort of separated company, and John Menard coming off that big win in the Indy Racing Northern Lights Series that Greg Ray dominated last Saturday night at Atlanta, headed to Indianapolis, and we hope to be able to see his truck back on the series in the future. And Brian Reffner has had some good runs early on this year.
Well, he certainly has. You know, he won the race at Texas last year in the first year of that team. So really had a strong team and was looking awfully well. We hate to see them sitting out. Again, hopefully they'll be back soon.
And Brian and Rick Corelli, who won the very first NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series event held here at Gateway International back in 1998. He was here, but he was in a substitute role because Dale Phelan had closed up his shop in Aiken, South Carolina. So Corelli came in to help out Kenny Schrader.
That's right. Kenny was, as we all know, was up in Richmond running the Winston Cup race last night, and we've got actually Amy East has Kenny down there in the pits. Amy?
Yes, I do. And after a great 9th place finish at Richmond last night, it's nice for Ken Schrader to come over. And Corelli did qualify the truck for you into 22nd position, but you will now get in the truck. And if I'm correct, you'll have to start at the tail end of this field, right?
Yeah, we'll have to go to the back to start because I didn't get to qualify it. And Rick did a real good job. He just kind of took a ride for qualifying because he knew we were in the show. I think they were 7th or 8th in happy hour. He worked hard to get the truck real good. So we're excited about starting. Rather not be back there, but it's no big deal.
As demanding as the Winston Cup schedule is, how often are we going to get to see you come play with us in the truck series?
Well, Federated Auto Parts is sponsoring our truck for 10 races, and I'm going to drive it in Adem, and Lyndon Amick has already run Daytona. He's going to run Nashville for us also, so he's going to drive the Federated truck the other 2.
Well, Ken Schrader has a lot of roots here in the St. Louis area, so he's hoping to give Federated a victory here today. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Amy, a great qualifying effort for Carlos Contreras. You start 7th today, and I know with your road racing background, it's kind of why you do so well here, right?
Yeah, this kind of track is incredible for me. It's like a road course, and I feel a little bit sad because I wait the race but what can I do? We're just waiting.
You're anxious to go, right?
Yeah, I need to race right now because we have an incredible truck. The Petty team, the Hot Wheels, the Dodge Coca-Cola team works really hard in my truck. And Star 7 I think it's very good for me.
And Howard Comstock as a crew chief has got to have been a big boost to you this season.
Like, he is incredible, man. He knows a lot of things about the trucks. He has a lot of experience, and he's an incredible teacher. And work with Howard and the Petty guys I learned too much. I'm learning, and I learned too much.
And that's what it's all about. Carlos will roll off 7th when we get ready to go racing.
And Ray, he was the highest finishing rookie here last year. Started 12th, finished 18th. And there's a look at the Hot Wheels truck that he will be driving, the Dodge from Petty Enterprises. And this is a home of the Richard Petty driving experience for much of the year. Folks in the Midwest come here to be able to get in a car and make laps here to learn to be a car driver or a NASCAR driver, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver, whatever, but also get to visualize what it was like to be a part of Richard Petty's operation for many, many years. In fact, Richard was the Grand Marshal of this race here back in 1999. So a lot of Petty prominence here at Gateway International Raceway as we are waiting to get underway with the Ram Tough 200. Back with more in just a moment. For all the latest from NASCAR trucks, visit rpm.espn.com with the keyword NASCAR trucks. Updating what's happening in your favorite NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver, rpm.espn.com. And updating on what's happening around the world of motorsports, how about RPM tonight? 8 o'clock tonight Eastern Time. Host Whit Watson will have an update on everything that's going on around the motorsports world. And, of course, some exciting news in open wheel action, card highlights. How about a rookie getting a win today? Congratulations to Scott Dixon, Bruce McCall, and the Pac West team. We'll have highlights from the kart, NHRA recap, and, of course, truck highlights from our race right here at Gateway International Raceway. Let's go down where we have caught up with a driver who finished second here a year ago.
And, Jerry, that would be Jimmy Hensley, and a great qualifying effort here the other day. You'll start 6th today. What kind of race you think we're going to see?
Well, it should be a good race. A lot of competitive trucks here and close speeds, as far as being together. So I look for an exciting race. Hopefully weather will cooperate with us and let us get this in today. Just kind of been standing around here. We should be racing right now, but we're not. But anyway, I think, hopefully we can get the leftbehind.com Chevrolet, keep it up front today. We got us a good starting spot and have a good race.
Tell me about your status for the rest of the season in that truck, or where are we going to see you racing?
Well, Randy got me to drive at Martinsville and asked me to drive here, and I think we're going to maybe do Darlington and Colorado. So, you know, if we can just come up with a little more money here and there, you know, maybe we can keep doing this, because he's kind of out for a while, you know, with his neck injury, and hopefully get well here pretty quick.
Now, Jerry just told the fans that you finished second here last year. What did you learn that's going to let you get one better position today?
I hope a lot. No, we was lucky last year. We had some problems in the race that the cautions fell, you know, in our favor for once, and you know, that kind of helped us along. But we had a good truck here last year too, and hopefully we've got the same type deal this year where we can just stay there and, you know, be there at the end. That's the main thing.
Well, the good news is that was a rain delay race too, so maybe that'll be an omen for Jimmy Hensley. Now let's check back in with Amy.
Here with Lance Norick, who will be starting 13th on today's starting grid. And Lance, you've had a good season so far, a couple of ups and downs, but we don't very rarely get to talk about Aventus and what your sponsor is and what they do for some of the children that are in need.
No, it's an awesome deal with Aventus Bearing and Victory Lane Kids. Just like today, you know, throughout this rain, we have 250 kids and their family members over waiting for this race to start over in the hospitality. And Aventus gives them the opportunity, kids with hemophilia, to experience a NASCAR race firsthand.
Well, I think it's a great cause, and we wish you a lot of luck today. We know 250 fans will be cheering for you today. And Randy Tolsma always makes the annual visit to the St. Louis Children's Hospital. He did it again this year, and that's also a good cause. But let's talk about you so far this season. Top 10 in every race, no sponsor, but a poor qualifying effort here today.
Yeah, just driver error more than anything, I think. NASCAR gave us the option for scuff tires or stickers, and we had a few more laps on the tires. We thought that they would hold, and I overdrove the truck trying for that good qualifying lap and caused myself more problems than good. And qualifying 21st, but we have a lot better truck than that. The Team Renzi Chevrolet ran real good in practice. I think we were 7th in the first practice, and expect to make a good run to the front, and it'll be more from the back.
He'll be looking for another top 10 in what we now call the big white truck.
Exactly. And by the way, Randy's celebrating a birthday on Friday afternoon. I got to ask Randy how big that cactus was he bumped into a moment ago. Looks like he's got a little growth there on his face. But Randy, one of the great guys. He and wife Tiffany always doing things with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series competitors. They talk about the Children's Hospital visit. They do it here. They do it in Indianapolis, and organizing a lot of very special charity functions. But Randy, I promised I wouldn't tell anybody that Randy turned 35 on Friday, so don't tell anybody, Phil.
I won't tell anybody. And I'll tell you, we must have had too much time off, because Randy's, whatever that is on his face there.
And we talked about Jimmy Hensley driving. He's actually subbing for Randy McDonald in the LeftBehind.com Chevrolet. Randy McDonald, and for you Randy McDonald fans, had surgery on his neck down at in Miami by Dr. Barth Green, who's involved with the Miami Project, a week after Easter to correct a stenosis, a narrowing of an area in his neck. And Randy may or may not be able to get back this year, but it's good they got someone like Jimmy Hensley involved. And the LeftBehind.com folks, the folks that had that eight volume series, the New York Times bestseller for Tim LaHaye and Jerry Jenkins, decided, hey, we're going to stay on board and be a part of this team for 2, 3, 4 events, and maybe even more. So kudos to those people, and Randy McDonald getting well, and Jimmy Hensley, who has a good shot at picking up a win here today. Track drawing continues. Back with more in a moment. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series track drawing continuing here, and we hope to be able to get underway here very, very shortly. I'm Jerry Punch along with Phil Parsons. Glad to have you with us there. There's another full field of competitors here, Phil, so let's show the folks at home what will be our Mopar starting group when we do get the green flag. And for the second time this year, Ted Musgrave on the pole, this time with a brand new truck. He's flanked by Terry Cook in a Ford and a Chevrolet. Last year's winner, Jack Sprague. So it's Dodge, Ford, and Chevrolet in the top 3. And take a look, Matt Crafton, you heard us talk with him. Best qualifying effort of the year. He starts back in 8th position.
Got Frank Kimmel, two-time ARCA champ, starting 17th. Brendan Gaughan in TKO Motorsports return, 3rd at Bakersfield. You've got Randy Tolsma there, 5th in points, 3rd last year in this race, a 2-time series winner. And you have Ken Schrader, will actually go to the back of the field, truck qualified by Rick Corelli in 22nd position.
And the final starters, Bill Lester, the road racer, is there. Gunzelman, his best finish at Martinsville coming up 4 weeks ago. Tom Powers back. Ricky Sanders, Phil Bonifield, and Lonnie Richardson. Let's check in back in the garage area with Ray and Amy. Ray?
Well, Jerry, just about half the field here today will be shifting gears. The big question becomes, will the transmissions make it through the entire race? Most of the veterans are doing the shifting. A lot of the rookies aren't. But one other thing we have to keep our eye on today will be tires and pit strategy. For more on that, here's Amy East.
And last year, Jack Sprague ran the entire race on the same left side tires. Whether or not the new Goodyear harder compound tire can do that for the competitors this year, nobody knows because of the rain-shortened happy hour.
We will stay here to drive the track and come back to update you on what's going on to get the green flag underway. Meanwhile, we're going to show you our most recent event of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the Advanced Auto Parts 250 from Martinsville Speedway, run back on April 7th. We'll start with the starting grid at Martinsville, Virginia, and we'll come back and update you from St. Louis. The race $12 million NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Tour. Meanwhile, we'll take you back to Martinsville in the Advanced Auto Parts 250. Touch base with NASCAR inside. They're working very, very diligently to get the track dry. The corners are coming in. The back straightaway is drying, and the front stretch is getting dry. There you take a look at the corners. So hopefully, very, very shortly, we'll be able to get underway with the Ram Tough 200, stop number 5 on the 24-race, $12 million NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Tour. Meanwhile, back to Martinsville, Virginia. 27-point lead over Joe Ruttman and the others in the field. As you see, track drying continuing here at Gateway. I'm Jerry Punch along with Phil Parsons. Glad to have you with us. The track is drying. And Phil, I got a question from a driver's standpoint. With all the rain we had, what does it do to you mentally, and how about your setup for what you're trying to race today?
Well, Doc, it could change the setup, but the guys have had so much time now, too much time to think about it. They've already convinced themselves that what they did this morning was wrong. They should have left it alone or whatever. So it's really mentally a tough time.
Well, we are trying to dry the racetrack. If we get this race run in its entirety, you will be able to see it tomorrow on ESPN at 1 o'clock Eastern time in its entirety, live flag-to-flag coverage or flag-to-flag coverage of the Ram Tough 200 by Pepsi. Also updates tonight on RPM tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2. SportsCenter is next. So long, everyone, from St. Louis, Missouri. And then 4 weeks off, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series prepares for a grueling string of 10 events over the next 12 weeks. And it all begins today here at Gateway International Raceway.
Everyone wants to be number one, and Ted Musgrave makes it look so easy in the Mopar Dodge. 2 wins in his first 3 races from South Florida to Southern California have made him a constant threat wherever the trucks are racing. Scott Riggs has put the number 2 truck in the number 1 spot in points, capturing his first career truck win at Martinsville. Today, both the 2 and the 1 trucks are looking to give Dodge their first Gateway win. And the number 1 truck sits in the number 1 starting position, proving that the 3-week break has not hurt the Ultra Motorsports momentum. But at Gateway, the pole sitter has never won the race. A Dodge has never won the race. But this Ultra team has led over half of all the laps this season, which may give them a great shot at crossing the final gateway to victory lane.
Which driver's face will next appear in the winner's circle in St. Louis? It could be 5th place points man Randy Tolsma. His big white truck has been quietly consistent with top 6 finishes in every race this year. The 29 truck now sits 4th in the points, and this combination of Cook and Keselowski has produced a fiercely fast Ford. And finally, Ricky the Rookie Hendrick sure doesn't look like a freshman, with top 10 finishes in every race this year. Today, points aren't on these drivers' mind. They just want to find the gateway to victory lane. And with recent domination from Dodge in the first 4 races, NASCAR knew they needed to make a rules change. So the Ford got a lower front air dam. That's going to give him more downforce. And that could be really good news for Terry Cook. He starts 2nd today. And although he's never led here at Gateway, I have a feeling he very well may do that tonight. And it's been 64 races since Terry last visited victory lane. But guess what, folks? I think that streak could come to an end real soon.
ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, presents NASCAR. Today from Gateway International Raceway, just outside of St. Louis, Missouri, it's the 4th running of the Craftsman Truck Series Ram Tough 200, presented by Pepsi. After 4 of 24 events, newest winner Scott Riggs holds a slim 27-point lead over Joe Ruttman. Just 76 points separate the top 5, and Coy Gibbs back in 10th. He's less than 200 points out of the lead. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, along with Grand National and Winston Cup Series veteran Phil Parsons. Glad to have you with us. And Phil, we talked about the Dodge domination the first 4 events of the year. They won all 4 poles, all 4 races, led the most laps, and that precipitated a rule change that goes into effect today.
because of the dominance of Dodge over these 4 races and because of some wind tunnel testing last year, NASCAR decided to make some rule changes. Basically, they felt Ford was down here. They needed to elevate them. They gave them a little more downforce. They felt like Dodge was at the top of the totem pole. They felt like they had too much downforce, so they took away a little bit from them to meet in the middle with the Chevrolets.
And if qualifying's any indication, we've got a Dodge, a Ford, and a Chevrolet all in the top 3. Then NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Director Wayne Alton has done a great job leveling the playing field. We'll come back and take a look at the Mopar starting grid and wave the green flag for the Ram Tough 200 presented by Pepsi in just a moment. Brand new truck, Ted Musgrave, flanked by Terry Cook, coming off the career best or best finish of the year, 3rd at Martinsville. Back in row 2, last year's winner here, Jack Sprague, and the current points leader, young 30-year-old Scott Riggs. Back in row 3, Joe Ruttman, the winner at Daytona, and Jimmy Hensley, who finished 2nd here a year ago. Back in row 4, Carlos Contreras out of Mexico. He was the highest finishing rookie here last year, and Matt Crafton, his best qualifying effort ever in a NASCAR Craftsman truck, is 8th. And an all-rookie row 5 with Ricky Hendrick and Travis Quapple starting 9th and 10th.
Row 6 gives us Chuck Hosfeld and a Roush Ford with a new sponsor on the truck, Eldon Organizers, and Dennis Setzer 2nd in this race in 1999 with a new crew chief, Danny Gill, on board. Row 7, we have Lance Nort, 4th at Daytona, currently 15th in the points, and Rick Crawford, longtime series competitor, 9th in points. Row 8, Nathan Hosley coming off his best career finish, 10th at Martinsville, and Jim Engelbright, who had a 15th at Bakersfield. Row 9, we have Frank Kimmel, 2-time ARCA champion, and Billy Bigley, who was 9th at Bakersfield. Row 10, Nathan Butke, 3 career top 10s, first gate race start, and Brendan Gaughan, 3rd at Bakersfield, back with TKO Motorsports.
Back in row 11, Tolsma finished 3rd here a year ago. You see Kenny Schrader. The truck was actually qualified by Rick Corelli, and Schrader will go to the back of the package. Take a look at the rest of our starters here in the Ram Tough 200. 36 trucks will start for 160 laps, 200 miles on this 1.25-mile racetrack, Gateway International Raceway in Illinois. There's Bill Lester. Good to have Bill back in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series out of Oakland, California. Tom Powers and Ricky Sanders, Phil Bonifield, and Lonnie Richardson bringing up the final row, row 18. Let's meet the 4 drivers who will carry our onboard cameras today.
Hi, I'm Willie T. Ribbs. Buckle up and strap on tight. You're riding with me, Dodge number 8, Bobby Hamilton Racing.
Hi, I'm Kenny Schrader, and you're riding along with me in the number 52 Federated Auto Parts Chevrolet Silverado.
Hi, I'm Jim Engelbright. I drive the 02 Jelly Belly Chevrolet truck. Get in, sit down, shut up, and hang on. Let's go for a ride.
You're riding with me, Scott Riggs, in the number 2 Team ASE CarQuest Dodge.
All right, the field of 36 comes out of turn 4. Longtime Major League Baseball manager Whitey Herzog will wave the green flag. Glad to have you here at Gateway International Raceway. Ford, Chevrolet, Musgrave, Cook. Then comes Sprague. The battle is for 4th spot.
Got Joe Ruttman, Scott Riggs side by side, 18 and the 2. It was Travis Quapple moving way to the inside to get up beside Matt Crafton in the yellow, number 88.
150 miles an hour on the straightaway, averaging almost 130 a lap here at this 1.25-mile racetrack just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. On board with Scott Riggs, taking a look at Joe Ruttman just to the inside. They are 1-2 in the point standings as they run 4-5 here in the current running order.
You know, the nice thing, what we've seen already is we've seen some side-by-side racing, so the racetrack already has an outside groove. Just back in line, the bright yellow or green truck, whatever it is, that's Matt Crafton. You saw him on the outside of Travis Quapple, was able to stay ahead of Travis.
Matt Crafton, reigning Federlight Southwest Series champion, the Fast Track Driveway Sealer Chevrolet. Duke Thorson on truck. There is Musgrave, Cook, Sprague going by. Then Riggs, Ruttman, Jimmy Hensley driving the 72 truck. in place of Randy McDonald. There is Crafton, currently in 7th spot, started in 8th. Got his best finish of the year 4 weeks ago at Martinsville, finished 6th on 6 cylinders. Could have finished the top 5.
Had a great run at Martinsville. Great to see Jimmy Hensley back in the series. We saw him run this truck at Martinsville. Oh, tough break for Bill Lester. Unfortunately, that's a backup truck. Bill had a problem in happy hour yesterday and had to go to a backup truck and did not practice it at all, so obviously they had some sort of a problem.
31W insulation Dodge behind the wall, back to the garage area. Billy Bigley making a move inside of Jim Engelbright. Bigley in the 75, Spears Manufacturing. There's the Jelly Belly onboard camera for Jim Engelbright. Jelly Belly, of course, sponsoring our NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series event coming up out at Pikes Peak on May 20th, the Jelly Belly 200.
It was great to see earlier. We had a bit of a delay, and the owner of the company, Jelly Belly, was out here in the grandstands passing out Jelly Bellies.
Herman Rowland Jr., who's a right front tire carrier, just passing through the stands, handing out jelly beans. Isn't that awesome?
He was a pretty popular guy right then, too.
Here's Randy Tolles with the big white truck for Ed and Sam Rizzi. Tolles 5th in points.
Randy told us he had a lot better truck than where he qualified. He messed up a little bit qualified, went on scuffs. A lot of the guys went on stickers, and he said it just didn't have the grip he needed. He said he really felt like he could get to the front. Oh. Jim Engelbright going wide in the Jelly Belly truck. There's Brendan Gaughan in the 41 truck getting by him on the inside.
Had one truck that got a little bit out of shape and slowed. That's the 50 truck there on top of you. That's Chuck Hosfeld, the Eldon sponsored Ford, new sponsor on that truck. Chuck got very sideways, very slippery in turns 1 and 2. Gathered it back and didn't hit anything, but lost about 8 or 9 spots.
Looks like he's back up to speed now, right behind Jim Engelbright.
So he had his best finish in Martinsville coming 4 weeks ago. Both he and Nathan Hosley, his teammate, had their best NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series finishes at Martinsville. Hosley had a top 10, his first of his career.
You can still see Chuck wiggling in the 50 truck on the outside. Paper bag flying down the back stretch.
Now Engelbright is slowing. He will head for pit road. Unscheduled stop for Jim Engelbright, 39-year-old driver, making only his 2nd NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series start this season. Plans to run about 5 or 6 more. He raced at Mesa Marine, qualified 19th and finished 15th. Now he comes down pit road toward Rodney Haygood and the crew at 45 miles an hour here on lap number 8. So an unscheduled stop for Jim Engelbright.
Doesn't sound very good, Jerry. This truck is making a lot of noise.
It will change what looks like left side tires and looking primarily at the left rear. Meanwhile, back up front, Ted Musgrave showing the way. He's our pole sitter in a brand new Mopar Performance Dodge. This truck had not been on a racetrack to compete. Had been to one racetrack for 20 laps of practice prior to coming here to St. Louis. He shows the way in the early laps. Back with more in just a moment. We welcome you back to NASCAR Racing on ESPN. We are the exclusive home and proud to be the exclusive home of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, all 24 events on this $12 million tour for the 7th year of the Truck Series. Ted Musgrave showing the way. And a moment ago, Phil, it looked like Terry Cook back there in the Ford had moved in. Now Cook gets a challenge from Jack Sprague.
He had actually moved up a little bit on Ted Musgrave, but Jerry, what we notice here, just like qualifying, Dodge, Ford, Chevrolet, 1, 2, 3. So as of now, the rules changes have really closed up this competition.
There have only been 3 events held here in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Competition at Gateway International Raceway. No Dodge has ever won here, and no one has won from the pole. As you watch this battle for 19th spot, Kenny Schrader. Remember, Rick Pirelli qualified his Federated Auto Parts truck, and Schrader had to go to the back of the pack. He's coming through, Phil.
He's already up to 19th position there. He was on the inside of Frank Kimmel and was not able to make the truck stick, but Ken Schrader is definitely on the move. You see Nathan Hosley in a Roush Performance Ford right behind him in the 99.
And we're told that Rick Crawford's Milwaukee Tools Ford got very loose a moment ago. We'll keep an eye on Rick the Milwaukee Electric Tool Ford. Short track ace. Whoa, he loose again and nearly gets into Travis Kvapil. Does a great job of gathering it back in, but very loose entering turn 3.
Here he's following Jimmy Hensley down into turn number 1. And Jimmy in the 72 truck is Rick in the 14 truck. You see the truck kick out, get real loose, chases it up the hill. Travis Kvapil is able to get back on the inside of him and get by. That's a battle for the 8th position right there.
We'll keep an eye on the 14 truck of Rick Crawford and check with Rocket Ray Stonkus, his crew chief, see what's going on with that truck getting very loose.
He looks better on that corner right there. So
we told you that Kenny Schrader was on the move a moment ago. How about Randy Tolsman, the big white truck? He started 21st, and in less than 17 laps, he's now in 11th spot and moving toward the front.
He was telling the truth when he said that they had a good truck and they just messed up a little bit qualifying.
He ran second here for most of this race a year ago, about 2 car lengths behind Jack Sprague. Got passed in the last few laps by Jimmy Hensley, but Tolsma finished 3rd here a year ago, back when he was driving for Impact Motorsports and David Hodson in the Dodge. This is the Ed and Sam Renzi big white truck. If you're wondering about why it's a big white truck, well, because they're still looking for a sponsorship to put on that truck, and right now we just call it a big white truck.
And it's a big white new truck, because that's a brand new truck for the Renzi team.
Randy Tolsma is the subject of our one to watch this year.
This new tire threw us for a loop. I couldn't bring much of my old notes and what I needed from the past, and so we had to learn everything new together and along with each other. And so, you know, Ed and Sam Renzi are giving us good equipment. We have everything we need. We don't have a sponsor, but we're having fun with the big white truck, and we're doing some stuff. So we just need more time, and you know, I think NASCAR helped us out with the rule change a little bit, and you know, we'll just get better. The truck at St. Louis feels real good. I think we're very competitive, and maybe this is the racetrack.
Randy continuing to move toward the front. Randy's a Meridian, Idaho driver, a 2-time winner in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series competition. This year we mentioned with a new team, the Renzis. He's talked about all the adjustments they had on and off the racetrack. 2 wins. Bakersfield and Nashville. Top 10's 44. Top 10 in each race this season. Finished 3rd at Gateway a year ago, and he's currently 5th overall in the point standings.
He's now moved in the top 10. He was able to get by Ricky Hendrick while we were watching that little story on Randy's doing a great job. Got a battle side-by-side battle for 13th position. Lance Nork on the inside in the 90 truck. Dennis Setzer in the 46 truck on the outside. And you see Billy Bigley in the 75 Spears truck stick his nose on the inside of Dennis Setzer.
And Billy Bigley had problems when he first arrived here on Friday on the lap 3 of practice. He hit the wall. He wasn't up to speed. The truck just snapped around and he pancaked it. They had to go to a backup truck, so they had hoped to run the truck they had at Martinsville. Billy Bigley, the reigning Gatorade All-Pro Series champion. In fact, leads the points this year also in Gatorade All-Pro. He's running as a rookie here in NASCAR Craftsman Truck, but in fact, he led 193 consecutive laps last Saturday night at Greenville Pickens. Run out of gas with 7 laps to go, and when he had the race locked up, ran out of fuel.
Wow. Yeah, we talk about him being a rookie, but he's no rookie. He may be a rookie to the Craftsman Truck Series, but he's not a rookie to racing, that's for sure.
If you know short track racing, you know Billy Bigley. Ted Musgrave, 45 years of age, has won 2 races this year, got his 2nd pole out here, was hoping to make it 3 in a row, but had trouble with the rear end at Martinsville. Logging a 22nd place finish, and he moves in on the Jelly Belly Chevrolet and slips right by. 21 laps complete. Musgrave, Sprague, Cook, Riggs, and Rutten. Back at Gateway International Raceway in the Ram Tough 200, a tough break for Michael Dokken, the Breback Racing Ford. Dokken's truck slipping up across the racetrack, pancaked the wall on the right side. Then it's brought out the first caution flag today here on lap number 26.
You see the guys trying to pull the fenders out. Here's a look at what happened. Just gets a little bit loose coming off the corner. Tries to save it. And actually does save it, overcorrects and gets makes pretty hard contact with the outside wall coming off turn 2.
Well, they had high hopes too. Charlie Long, the crew chief and engine builder on that team, they were coming together in practice, so a tough break for them. Pit stops become the word of the day as we go down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Jerry, Jack Sprague will be in here, and you're going to put right side tires on the 24 truck, and they are going to give him a round of bite, too. Jack's pretty happy about the way the truck is handling here. They said, just be smooth here. Important thing is it should only take 1 can of fuel here because we're only about halfway through what would be a normal fuel load pit stop here. Sprague is in the Net Zero Chevrolet. Now to Amy East.
Terry Cook's K Automotive Ford is going to take right side tires and hope to tighten up the balance of the truck with the right side, while Ted Musgrave also looks like he took rights and is just maybe going to win the race from Jack Sprague off of pit lane.
And a bit of hesitation by Terry Cook leaving. You wonder if maybe sputtered a little bit leaving pit road. A couple of trucks went by him. And as Sprague coming out, Musgrave, almost everyone opting for right side tires. And if you're wondering, in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing, you're only allowed 2 tires per caution flag. You say, why don't we see 4 tire changes? Well, they're trying to keep the tires to a minimum to keep the cost down. And the crew chiefs feel we're bragging on this tire so much. They said, this tire is so good that Goodyear brought here, we're probably not going to need left side tires, just right side tires a couple of times.
That's right. They figure on making a couple pit stops for right side tires, and that'll be about it. But you never know. It depends on how the trucks are handling.
Let's check in back on what happened in the Cook pits, Amy.
Well, just as we know, the NASCAR Winston Cup and Busch Series, it's also in the Truck Series that when you change the tire, it has to be rolled back halfway back into the pit stall. And they had a right front tire that was rolling into Ted Musgrave's pit. Terry could not leave his pit until that right front tire was back halfway into the pit box. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Amy, down this end of pit road, just everybody taking right side tires. Didn't see lefts for anybody. Now, a couple of trucks that made good moves were the 2 truck of Scott Riggs and the 60 of Travis Kvapil. Both of those gained positions with great pit stops down here. Now, it's important to keep in mind that they ran 14 pace laps before this race started, so that does play into the fuel mileage issue. You get about, probably use half the amount of fuel on a pace lap as you would under regular racing conditions. So everybody was doing their math down here, but with this early pit stop at lap 27, that really gets thrown out the window. But it will play in later as these trucks can probably go about 60 laps on fuel.
Thanks, guys. You get about 4 miles per gallon under green, about 8 or 9 miles per gallon under caution. So we'll count up the fuel mileage and come back and continue coverage from St. Louis. At Gateway International Raceway here just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. Lap 31, caution out for the first time today for 4 laps due to an incident involving Michael Dockett. Hit the right side of this Ford truck.
Jack Sprague in the lead now by virtue of his pick crew winning the race off pit road. Ted Musgrave in the 1 pulling on the inside. Looking to the inside, I should say. Now he's going on the outside.
Musgrave pulling up, trying to pull up alongside Sprague on the outside, something you couldn't see a year ago.
That's a power move right there, Jerry.
Sprague was so dominant here a year ago. Now Musgrave makes the pass. Here comes his teammate, Scott Riggs, looking to the inside. Jack Sprague now gets up along the inside. We'll have a shot off of turn 2.
It looks like Jack may really have let a lot of air out of his tires. These guys typically will let the tires down a little bit for a long run, so because the tires will build up air. So it looks like maybe Jack might have let a lot of air out of his tires, or more than the other guys, but seems to be back up to speed and back up to pace right now.
Let's check in the Scott Riggs pit with Amy East. Amy?
Well, an observation before that yellow was that the front 3 trucks had really pulled away from Scott Riggs. Now, something that we've talked about is that a lot of these guys may shift when going into turns 1 and 2 here. While Scott Riggs is not comfortable with shifting, but does have a transmission that allows him to do that, for the beginning of this race, he was not shifting, and that allowed the front 3 trucks to get away from him. So his crew chief, Timmy Cahoot, has advised him, you have to shift to run with the big boys.
Well, indeed, and Ted Musgrave was telling us about he was shifting twice a lap, double shifting.
There he goes, back on the inside of Jack Sprague. Got a great run off of turn 4.
He's there, right beside you.
See if he can beat Jack down in the corner.
Still there.
Here, Jack Sprague's spotter. Scott keeps it glued to the inside, right leg to the ripple strips. Pulls it out the wall, beats Jack Sprague off of turn 2.
Meanwhile, Ted Musgrave is pulled away by, well, about 10 truck lengths. He is our leader. He was the pole sitter. Riding along with Scott Riggs, our points leader. There's Musgrave. Then Riggs. Then Sprague. Then how about Travis Quapple? Give a call to Travis. Finished second at Martinsville. Rookie contender. He's in the 60 truck, the Cat rental truck. For Mike Addington, right behind him is the 18 of Joe Rutland. Then comes Terry Cook. You heard Amy tell you that Terry had that little hesitation in the pits because of a tire in the pit box he had to go around. So that cost him some time. That's why he was being shown back in the 6th position.
Talked to Travis Quapple before the race. He had not planned on shifting. He said every time he tried it in practice, he slowed down. Talked to Rick Renner's crew chief on the 60 Cat rental truck, and he said the same thing with Andy Houston last year. Every time they tried to shift, they slowed down. So Travis has a transmission that he can shift, but he had not planned on doing it.
And here is Tolsma in the big white truck. Continuing to move toward the front. Now, he had a little bit of a different pit strategy, right, Ray Dunlap?
Boy, really did, Jerry. I said no one would take lefts down here. Boy, they proved me wrong because Randy Tolsma came on and said to the crew chief, let's go with lefts because I'm loose on the entry into the corner. So they did do left side tires. The 43 also did that too. But the good news for Randy Tolsma is they had a good pit stop down here, but he also has passed 10 or 11 trucks actually on the racetrack. So Tolsma really on the move, but he's one of the guys that got left side tires while everyone else took rights.
And typically taking left sides, Phil, I guess, would tighten you up.
That's right. And actually, conversely, taking right sides will actually free the trucks up a little bit, or probably make not as much difference as changing left side tires. So interesting strategy for Randy Tolsma. But as we mentioned earlier, the reason he took lefts was to adjust the chassis on his truck.
So from 21st starting spot to 9th right now, and that is Ricky Hendrick in the 17 behind him back in 10th position. That's Rick Crawford in the 14, the Milwaukee Electric Tool Ford in front of him. So that's 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Got Carlos Contreras in the 43 right behind him. There you see Carlos right there in the blue truck, the Hot Wheels truck, right behind Ricky Hendrick. Great qualifying effort for Carlos Contreras, and he's doing a great job right now running 11th position.
Absolutely. We talked about some of the drivers hoping to get their first win. All these guys have had top 10s at all 4 events this season. They have yet to win. They are 3rd, 4th, and 5th in points. They have finished 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. They've all had good runs, and they're all possible candidates to get a victory here today. Hendrick, Cook, and Tolsma.
I think those 3 guys we're talking about right now are a threat to win any race we go to.
And they're a threat for the championship as well. Back up front, Ted Musgrave, 45-year-old driver, the Mopar Performance Dodge, and what a job he has been doing here for Jimmy Smith and the Ultra Motorsports team. Can't say enough about Fred Wanke and the crew and how well that he and Ted have worked together to make adjustments in the truck. I mean, even after
way up on the wheel, driving it in way too deep.
It's Eddie Thratt, Ted Musgrave's spotter. He's talking about Scott or Jack Sprague, one of the two, really trying to run hard to try to catch Ted Musgrave. A lot of mutual respect between Ted Musgrave and Fred Wanke. Talk to each of them individually, and they really sing the praises of the other. There you see, that's a view from Scott Riggs' onboard camera, looking out towards Ted Musgrave leading the race.
Take a look at the lap leaders. Ted Musgrave and Scott Riggs have led 51% of the total laps. That's over. There have been 770 laps, but these two have led 231 and 164, and that's probably one of the reasons we saw the rule change to impact the Dodges. But you got to wonder now how much that rule change did to hurt the Dodge.
Well, it hasn't killed it, that's for sure. I talked to Fred earlier in the week, and he grabbed his heart and fell on the floor. And,
good actor.
Yeah, good acting. Yeah, I don't know why he was acting in front of me, but he was anyway. But obviously, they're still pretty strong.
You're talking about Fred Wanke, of course, the crew chief for Ted Musgrave. We approach the 50-lap mark, and we have one truck sliding in the grass. That is Willie T. Ribbs, and still as yet no caution flag. He is off over in turn 2. And the caution has yet to come out.
I don't think it will. Willie got back going before it necessitated a caution flag, so I think we're going to stay under green.
Roy Selby was getting ready to grab that yellow flag, but put it back away. So Willie T is back on his way.
Didn't see any damage to the truck, so I don't think he hit anything. Don't know if he flat spotted the tires or not, but.
All right, we'll show you what happened when we come back to Gateway International Raceway. And here's that great pit stop by Jack Sprague. Got him back out toward the front. The crew obviously excited. Willie T. Ribbs back underway here at NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action at Gateway International. Now, a moment ago, he had his hands full trying to hold on to that Dodge Ram pickup truck down in turns 1 and 2.
See, we're at the top of the screen there in the 8 Dodge truck. He gets a little bit sideways, jumped in the throttle, got a little bit sideways, was able to keep it from backing up the hill into the outside wall, almost had it saved, and got off into the infield grass, but did not necessitate a caution flag. Here we're going to take a look at it from his onboard camera. He was going down into turn 1. Gets back in the throttle. Looks like spins the wheels a little bit, and around it goes. Again, there he almost had it saved, and then jerked left and into the grass.
There's a guy there chasing Ted Musgrave in the Mopar Dodge. Now, you talked to the crews down there earlier before the race, Phil, and they were making some chassis adjustments, not on Musgrave's truck, but on the truck behind him, Scott Riggs.
Well, they felt like Ted Musgrave's truck was probably the best truck here. So Scott Riggs, that's the good fortune of his to have a teammate like Ted Musgrave and Fred Wanke. They actually changed their truck so it's just like Ted Musgrave. So number one, he can shift. He put the same transmission and rear end ratios so he can shift just like Ted Musgrave's doing. And obviously it's working because he's got a real good truck right now.
Musgrave's been driving for 20 years, whereas Scott Riggs, the young man you looked at now in the 2 truck, it's only his 2nd season and first full season at NASCAR Craftsman Truck competition.
Got a pretty good horse right behind him, Jack Sprague. You see Jack got in the throttle really well in the center of the corner in turn 3 and 4. Going to try to move to the inside, was not able to quite make it stick.
19-time winner of the Net Zero Chevrolet for Sprague. He's the defending champion of this Ram Tuck 200. Dominated here a year ago, leading 145 of 160 laps.
Got the guy in the throttle a little bit quicker down in 1 and 2. Jack follows him down into turn 3. Jack won this race, as we talked about earlier. It really ran off and hit from this field. Was not shifting. Did not shift the whole time last year. He told me did not shift qualifying, did not shift during the race, but he is shifting this time.
And here is Terry Cook back in 4th position. Terry qualified on the outside front row, the K Automotive Ford. Driving for the Keselowski family, Kay Keselowski, Bob Keselowski. Coming off that best finish of the year, 3rd at Martinsville Speedway, looking for that first win. And like Travis Kvapil, talking about a rookie looking for a first win. Kvapil finished 2nd in this truck at Martinsville 4 weeks ago behind Scott Riggs.
Also finished 2nd at Homestead to Ted Musgrave. Side by side for 2nd, we're looking at a Scott Riggs truck and Jack Sprague on the inside. Jack keeps it hugged at the bottom. Scott's making pretty good time on the outside. Going to split Larry Gunzelman and put him in the middle.
And that cost Sprague some time. He had to go to the inside and back out a little bit, so that will give Riggs a chance to pull back in front, single file for 2nd and 3rd spot. They go by Jim Englebright's 0-2. Take a look from the onboard camera, the Jelly Belly onboard. That's Coy Gibbs right in front of Englebright in the MB&A Chevrolet.
Nose to tail going in turn 1. Scott Riggs in 2. Jack Sprague in 24. Jack trying to work to the inside again. Pulled up beside him. Actually pulls ahead by half a truck length. The thing about being on the inside, you don't want to drive in the corner so hard that you slide up into the guy on the outside. So Jack's a little bit tentative going in the corner, but makes up for it through the center and off the corner.
Sanders waving his hand to indicate that he's a little slower on the inside. Again, maybe pointing to the outside. Here goes Sprague and that 0 Chevy by, and Riggs.
That's what a heads-up move on Ricky Sanders' part. He knew where he was. He knew he was coming up on him. He waved him to the outside and moved over so they were able to get by without any problem whatsoever.
That's the 0 they're going by there. Lonnie Richardson out of Paris, Texas. The Intensity Custom Raceware Chevrolet. I mentioned this is the 5th race of the year for the NASCAR Craftsman trucks. Travis Kvapil had never been to Daytona or Homestead or Mesa Marin or Martinsville, but he has been to this racetrack. He's had 3 top 5 finishes in RE/MAX Challenge competition, including 2 4th-place finishes a year ago. So he knows this racetrack. He's very comfortable, and that's showing pretty well right now with the 5th-place run.
Talking to Travis earlier, he was really glad to get to a racetrack that he was familiar with, and he's certainly very familiar with this racetrack. Has done a great job, as you mentioned, in the RE/MAX series.
And we'll be going out to Pikes Peak on May 20th. He's won twice there at Pikes Peak. Both times he won were on ESPN. He's been in a RE/MAX Challenge stock car, so he's excited about getting back out there in a few weeks. Speaking of Kvapil, we're checking his pits with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Jerry, you're right. Travis is very good on this kind of a racetrack, but they also have a very, very good truck. Now, they call this particular unit Bond because it's number 007. This truck has run 6 races, and guess what? All 6 of them top 5 finishes for Travis Kvapil after he ran at Martinsville. As you said, this is the same truck he finished 2nd. Now, they banged the body up pretty bad at Martinsville, so they had to fix it. But the chassis is a very, very good one. 6 top 5 finishes with number 007.
All right, so Travis Kvapil is chasing this guy. So is everyone else. Ted Musgrave, our pole sitter, leading the way here on lap 57 of 160. Back with more from St. Louis in a moment. Trader very familiar with Darlington Raceway, the NASCAR's oldest stock car super speedway. But how about Ted Musgrave? I was told that Musgrave and his crew chief Fred Wenke have a combined 42 races run at Darlington Raceway. Talk about the experience being an advantage there. These guys should be awfully tough.
Ted Musgrave is really, really good at Darlington. He actually finished 2nd in a Winston Cup car at Darlington, so he's got a lot of experience. There he is getting by Kenny Schrader to put Kenny a lap down. One thing I noticed from looking at Kenny's onboard is Kenny's not shifting. He's one of the guys that's not shifting, and that may have something to do with the fact that he wasn't able to be here and practice the truck and things like that to be able to get his shifting down pat, because he certainly has a lot of experience shifting at places like Pocono and the Winston Cup cars and on the road courses.
Yeah, Kenny finished 9th at Richmond on Saturday night, so wasn't able to qualify his truck and came here and got the truck started back in the pack. A bit of battle here. You watch Terry Cook and Jack Sprague. Sprague to 24, Cook to 29. That's Chevrolet and Ford. They are battling for 2nd position.
During the break, while we were away, Terry Cook was able to get by Scott Riggs for the 3rd position.
Again, Cook driving for the K Automotive folks. Kay and Ron and Bob Keselowski. They've got a beautiful shop outside of Auburn Hills in Michigan. Still looking for a sponsorship on that Ford F-150. A great third place run at Martinsville.
Terry keeps running like this. That's not going to be a problem. Terry, this is the 3rd time Terry's actually started in the top 5 here at Gateway. Unfortunately, he's only had 1 top 10 finish, but it looks like he's going to improve on that immensely today.
He had 6 top 10s a year ago. One of those came here at this racetrack. He finished 9th, driving for Duke Thorson. They go and meet Chuck Hosfeld. Good to see Jack Roush getting sponsorship on the side of that car, that truck for Hosfeld. Division of Rubbermaid, the Elgin folks. They are organizers for your desk and your drawers.
Actually, a 2-part sponsorship. The parent company, or New Old Rubbermaid, is actually on one of Jack's Winston Cup cars with Kurt Busch, last year's Rookie of the Year.
And what a job Kurt is doing in Winston Cup this year. Wow. There's Scott Riggs. And smoke billowing from beneath one truck. That's the 86 of Jason White, the National Wild Turkey Federation Ford. Tough break. The David Hodson on team as they that will bring out caution number 2 here on lap 72.
I think it'll bring all the guys back to pit road. Try to get them in their pit window, and now they get a real good chance to look at their fuel mileage. Now, will the guys take left side tires this time, Jerry? Will they go rights again or no tires?
You know, a year ago, very few people even took left side tires. As you see the 86 truck now coming to a halt in its pits. Dave Hughes Jr., the crew chief down there. Jason White out of Powhatan, Virginia. National Wild Turkey Federation, 315,000 card-carrying members watching this NASCAR Craftsman truck and pulling for it every week, in a tough break for them. And Jason White here at Gateway International.
Here comes the guys ducking on the access road and into the pits.
Musgrave, Sprague, Terry Cook, the first three coming on the pit road. There are 16 trucks on the lead lap. They can all pit first time by. Let's check in with you, Ray.
Well, a lot of discussion down here, Jerry, just like you were saying. Do they do lefts or rights or whatever? Well, Sprague and Dennis Conner said we got to do rights again. If we need lefts, we'll do that later. So it will be right side tires here and a chassis adjustment, as they are going to put around a wedge in the number 24. We also hear a couple other trucks right down here doing right sides too, so I think that's going to be the strategy to keep those right sides on. Sprague is here. They will make that chassis adjustment. They were trying to decide whether to pull spring rubbers out, and now to Amy East.
On this end of pit lanes, it's left side tires for the one of Ted Musgrave and left side tires for the 29 of Terry Cook. Musgrave, Sprague, Briggs, and now Cook will be your first four off of pit lane.
So a little bit of a different strategy than a year ago, when people mostly took right side tires on both their pit stops.
Yeah, that time, you know, even though Dennis Conner told Jack Sprague they needed to put rights on, they did. I guess at the last second they must have changed their minds and put lefts on.
All right, we'll sort it out with those crew chiefs and come back. There's Dennis Conner, the veteran crew chief for the two-time Craftsman Truck Series champion, Jack Sprague. Back with more in just a moment. Back at Gateway International Raceway, working caution number 2 in the day. Jason White's machine having some motor problems. Let's check in the pits with Ray Dunlap. Ray?
Well, Jerry, we wonder what the strategy is down here for Jack Sprague. Dennis, I figured everybody was going with rights there. Then you fooled me and went with lefts. What's the plan there? You trying to make the truck better for Jack?
We're definitely trying to make the truck better. It was awful loose. Actually, just when the caution came out is what changed our minds. I think everybody on pit road planned not to put left sides on, but you can't go from here till the end of the race, so why use up your rights when you know you got to stop again?
So what about fuel mileage? Where's that play out now with the caution where it fell?
Like I said, we can't go the rest of the way. We can go to probably 145, 150.
Okay, so we got one more stop coming up for sure, and we're about ready to go back to green, guys.
Getting set for the restart here on lap 79. We are one lap away from halfway in the Ram Top 200 at Gateway International.
Ted Musgrave again. Against Jack Sprague won the race off pit road. Ted Musgrave going to pass him again on the outside. He actually did it in turn 1 and 2 this time. Last time he did it in turn 3 and 4.
He just joined us. Ted Musgrave is double shifting. He shifts down in the third gear going into 1, up in the fourth in the back stretch, down in the third here in turns 3 and 4. And just coming out of 4, about there, he goes back into fourth gear.
It's certainly working well for him, and it doesn't seem like he wants anyone else to leave very much either. One thing Dennis Conner said that was kind of encouraging, it sounded like they were getting a lot better fuel mileage, because Dennis said if they could go to lap 145 or 150, they all stopped on lap 72. That would give them over 70 laps they could run on tank of fuel, so that's a lot more than we were thinking.
So in another 10 or 15 laps, their fuel window will open. They could pit again and make it the rest of the way.
If the caution would come out in another 15 or 20 laps, then they'll all stop, and at least Dennis Conner and Jack Sprague will be able to go the rest of the way, and I'm sure Ricky Hendrick would be in the same boat. Here we see Scott Riggs moving on the inside.
Dodge of Scott Riggs is motoring on the inside there for Jack Sprague, and looks like he won't take the spot away. Down in turn 1, here comes Terry Cook, battling for third position. Sprague closes the door, but now Cook will try to make a move.
Scott Riggs' truck has been really good right after the restart, and then he faded a little bit on that last long run, so we'll see if they've made some changes to that truck or if he can stay up there.
And here we have Willie T. Ribbs that has spun again over in the grass off of turn 2. Same place he spun a little bit ago, and that will bring out caution number 3.
No hurry, caution is out.
Lap number 82. And the caution is out for the 8 truck, Willie T. Ribbs.
Sounds like Willie feels like there was some contact there.
The 72 just barely nudged you, Willie.
You hear a spotter talking about Jimmy Hensley said it just barely nudged him, but that certainly wasn't intentional on I think we're going to look right in front of this big group right here. You see Coy Gibbs in the 20 truck slow down. There's the 72 right behind Willie T. So I'm sure knowing Jimmy Hensley, that was certainly incidental and unfortunate and contact.
Willie, so just calm down. Everything's fine.
Yeah, you don't find more of a gentleman. They call Jimmy Hensley Gentleman Jimmy. So there is the guy they're chasing, Ted Musgrave.
That was a great shot of the onboard camera of Willie T. You saw him reach over and pull his shoulder belts tight. That's something a race car driver has to do all the time, is keep tightening those belts, because you bounce around, you sink down in the seat. You have to keep tightening those belts. And I know 2 times we looked at Willie T. and he was tightening his belts both times. I think very, very smart.
And here is Dennis Setzer in the Axiom Chevrolet coming on to pit road. Setzer finished second here back in 1999.
You pull the tire off. You pick all your lug nuts up. Make sure you got some extra lug nuts, Mark.
Setzer with new crew chief Danny Gill on pit road. Here at Gateway International Raceway, the Ram Tough 200 ongoing. 82 laps are in the books. Let's check into pits with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Jerry, they're making an adjustment on the right front of Dennis Setzer's truck. He said the truck was very, very loose, and they wanted to take a look in there and see if the spring rubber, I don't know if they took the spring rubber out or not. I'm not sure. Can't see what the situation is there, but they will have fuel here. And Dennis saying nothing on the radio here right now. So Dennis Setzer with fuel here on lap 82, but Phil, they can't make the distance from here, can they?
No, we don't think so, Ray. That's, gosh, that's 78 laps. We don't think they can go that far. But it looked like if the truck was loose, and he was probably either putting a rubber in the right front or making sure that the spring had not come out the bucket. So they probably put a spring rubber in the right front.
Take a look at our top 5. Ted Musgrave, the pole sitter, has led 74 laps. Has led 3 times for 74 of the 82 laps we have so far. And there is Musgrave in the 1 truck. And let's check in his pits with Amy.
Here with crew chief Fred Wanke. Fred, it looked like you guys were going to come in, maybe possibly take some right sides, and then decided to stay out. When will you need to bring that Mopar Dodge down pit lane?
Well, it was borderline, and right now it wasn't worth the gamble. We're figuring somewhere around 72 to 75 laps. It just wasn't worth it for right now. You know, Ted's doing such a good job. It's running so good. It's whenever it's running that good, you just got to stay out and leave it alone, basically.
So you heard it. He said about 75 laps. So we're again thinking in that same pit window that Dennis Conner said, somewhere around lap 145.
We are working caution for the 3rd time today. Willie T. Ribbs in the Dodge, spinning off of turn 2. Got a bit of a nudge from Jimmy Hensley from behind. And Ribbs spun around. That produced a caution flag for the 3rd time today here at Gateway International Raceway. We are set for the restart. That is Kenny Schrader, the Federated Auto Parts Chevy. Out on the inside of Ted Musgrave. Schrader is the first truck a lap down. There are 16 trucks on the lead lap. Schrader showing in 17th position.
We know Scott Riggs has been awfully good on the restarts. We'll see if he has anything for his teammate Ted Musgrave here once we get under green.
Restart lap 85. Roy Selby waving the green flag once again.
But Ted Musgrave's pretty good on the restarts too, Jerry.
Musgrave, Riggs, Sprague, Cook, Quapple. That's a top 5. Then Ruttman is 6th. Good run for Rick Crawford back in 7th spot. How about the effort for the rookie driver, Matt Crafton, in 8th position. A lot of traffic back here for Willie T.
You see Billy Bigley in the Spears truck, at the blue truck right in front of him. Ricky Sanders on the inside in the 19 truck. You hear Willie T. You could hear him downshifting going into turn 1. He's one of the ones, obviously, one of the guys that is shifting. The 50 truck got a little bit loose off turn 2 there. We're looking from Jay Engelbright's on board, the Jelly Belly on board. Here's a pass for the lead, Scott Riggs.
And Riggs very loose, got the truck loose in the bottom of the racetrack, held on, slid up across in front of Ted Musgrave. And Riggs will lead that lap by. That's the first lap he has led today.
You know, I wonder if that's a situation that is, since Ted Musgrave was Scott Riggs' teammate, did he let him go by to get the 5 bonus points? We'll see now. If Scott moves over and lets Ted go right back by, then we know it was a planned deal.
Remember, Riggs is the points leader by just 27 points over Joe Ruttman entering here. Watch this move again by Riggs.
Actually, it looked like Ted Musgrave might have wiggled a little bit and slid up high, and that's what allowed Scott Riggs to get on the inside. And here we go back. Scott Riggs' lead is pretty short-lived.
Yeah, he led his lap.
Throw your mirror up. Let's go on now. That's teamwork, boys.
Yeah, you hear Eddie Thraft.
What's that tell you?
Actually, that might have been Jimmy Smith, the truck owner. He said that was great teamwork there. So it looks like that might have been a deal where let's let Scott Riggs, he's leading the points. Let's let him get his 5 bonus points, then we'll go back to racing.
Musgrave has led 78 laps 4 different times. There have been 3 leaders, 6 lead changes. Lap 88 of 160, well past now the halfway point.
It's very close now to the pit window. If a caution would come out now, a lot of the guys, we think, obviously, Jack Sprague and Ted Musgrave are 2 of the ones that we feel like will go the rest of the way.
538.
Well, they continue to chase Ted Musgrave. Riggs, his teammate, is behind him. Then comes the first Chevrolet. That is Jack Sprague, the Ford of Cook, and the Chevy of Quapaw. Missouri, the Gateway International Raceway, hosting the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. I'm Jerry Punch, along with Phil Parsons, Amy East, and Ray Dunlap. Pretty good rookie efforts going on here, Phil.
Great rookie battle. You see the 17 truck on the right side of your screen. That's Ricky Hendrick. He's in the 9th position. Behind him, Nathan Hosline in the 99 and the 10th. Then you have Billy Bigley in the 75, the blue and white truck, and the bright yellow truck of Matt Crafton, the 88, in 12th position. So you have a bunch of rookies there. You go 3 wide going down in turn 1. Billy Bigley on the inside. Nathan Hosline wisely back up the throttle, let him get in. But a great job these rookies are doing. Anywhere from back to 9th, back to 12th position.
And you saw our Rebustus Rookie of the Year point standings with Hendrick. Ricky Hendrick, a slim 6-point lead over Quapple, and Hosline back in 3rd. Right along with Kenny Schrader's Federated Auto Parts onboard camera. Take a look back at the reigning Gatorade All-Pro Series champion, Billy Bigley.
People may wonder why Kenny Schrader's here running this truck after racing in Richmond last night. He's probably going to race tonight somewhere. I wouldn't doubt it.
Kenny, of course, from Missouri, and anytime he can get back to his home state, he will come back to race. They run over to Peevely every now and then when they run races. It's the racetrack he owns up here in Missouri. Great run, by the way, for Kenny Schrader in the M&M's Pontiac. Came from 21st starting spot to finish 9th at Richmond on Saturday night. So they're really getting it done there.
Really has helped them when they added the team car of Johnny Benson. They've also had a great year.
Absolutely. Battle for 5th position, Travis Quapple, another rookie. And back behind him is Rick Crawford.
Started back in the 14th position, has moved all the way up to 6th, so that's a pretty good gain for Rick Crawford.
Now let's check in the Travis Quapple pits. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Jerry, just a little bit loose for Travis Quapple, and they've been adjusting on that truck on the pit stops. I just talked with Rick Rand, the crew chief. He said he's making minor adjustments, trying to change it just a little bit because they don't want to go too far because this racetrack could change in the latter part of this as it starts to get to darkness here and cools off. So he doesn't want to make too big of a changes on that truck. I said, do you have anything for the guys up front? He said, maybe for Cook or Sprague, but certainly not for the Dodges.
Hasn't led a lap, currently in 5th position. Is up as high as 4th on lap 28. Back in 9th spot on lap 12. And right behind him, the Milwaukee Electric Tools Ford. Rick Crawford in 6th spot. That's the 14 truck. And back up front there is Ted Musgrave. has led 87 laps of 96, which are complete here at Gateway International. Back with more coverage of NASCAR Craftsman truck action in a moment. Jack Sprague knows how to win in convincing style and begin a hot streak. Last year he dominated here at Gateway, then went on to win 2 of the next 3 races. Could he begin another winning trend here today? There's a look at Jack Sprague taking second spot away from Scott Riggs, or trying to anyway. Paints down on the bottom of the racetrack. We mentioned Sprague dominated here a year ago, led 145, 160 laps, and led 66 laps the year before.
A little wiggle by Scott Riggs over in turn 4 allowed Terry Cook to get inside in the 29 Ford truck. We mentioned earlier Scott Riggs really good on a restart, but then fades a little bit. So I'm sure they're working on that truck, and they won't get many more chances to make that truck better. Terry Cook able to go ahead and complete the pass, moved up to the 3rd position behind Jack Sprague in front of Scott Riggs.
Sprague is taking the spot away. There's Terry Cook. There's Riggs. That is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Sprague, a 2-time NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion, 19 career victories, still looking for win number 20. And he has indeed been a Gateway giant. Average finish 2.6, pretty good here in 3 starts. And led 242 laps.
That's not too bad of a finish average right there.
Not at all. Driving for Rick and Linda Hendrick. Dennis Conner, the crew chief. Net 0. Looking for their first win. Come on board this truck here in the 2001 season. There's Terry Cook. K Automotive Ford F-150 for Bob and Kay and Ron Keselowski. Cook coming off a 3rd place finish at Martinsville. Finished 6th at Daytona, 10th at Homestead, 7th at Mesa Marin. There's Riggs, the points leader.
Scott Riggs currently in 4th position. He started 4th. Again, he's faded a little bit here since this restart, but he's still in 4th position, running in the top 5. Great run for Rick Crawford in the 14 Milwaukee Electric Tool Ford. Another Ford back up in the top 5, so now we have 2 Fords in the top 5.
Rick Crawford coming off his best finish of the year, a 7th at Martinsville. Travis Wappel.
Back in the 60 truck, 2-time 2nd place finisher this year in his rookie season. Actually ran here last year in the Remax Challenge Series. As you mentioned, finished 4th twice in the 2 races.
And here is Ruttman getting challenged by Tolsma. That's 4th position, by the way. That's for 7th spot. Let's take a look at Joe Ruttman, who won the season opener at Daytona. Oldest driver to win a NASCAR Craftsman truck competition, 56 years, 4 months. And there's Randy Tolsma, just made the pass.
See, Randy now, again, little different strategy. He got left side tires the first pit stop, so now he's actually got fresher right side tires than anybody, and this is the highest position he's been during the race, so it obviously worked well for him to this point.
Started back in 21st, now being shown in the 7th position. There is Ruttman, started 5th, back in 8th spot now. Joe Ruttman driving the Dana Dodge with Bobby Hamilton Racing. Bobby has 2 trucks in the race. He has Joe Ruttman and Willie T. Ribbs.
Go back to Ricky Hendrick in the 9th position. We've got Matt Crafton in the yellow Sealmaster Chevrolet behind him. They've been together for a good while. That's a good battle right there for the 9th position.
Couple rookie drivers. There is Crafton. Best qualifying effort of the year for Matt Crafton.
Great finish at Martinsville. Had a good run. Lost a couple cylinders late in the race and still was able to finish 6th.
Probably could have finished 4th or better. And there's a Spears Manufacturing machine, the Chevy of Billy Biglick, reigning Gatorade All-Pro Series champion, current All-Pro Series points leader. Running for Rookie of the Year here in NASCAR Craftsman Trucks. Let's check into his pits with Ray.
Well, Jerry, they've run this truck quite a bit this year, as you know. They call this thing Earl, and they ran it at Homestead, Bakersfield, and at Martinsville. This truck's been a lot better than it used to be a year ago because Mark Blessing made a lot of changes to it. But they haven't quite got the results that they were hoping for. Of course, they finished 24th at Homestead, had a good run at Bakersfield, and finished 9th there. But they know this truck's a lot better than the performance they've gotten out of it. Bigley started 18th today and has been steadily moving his way up through the field. I think he's running 11th right now.
Next truck up to take a look at is the 99. That's Nathan Hosley. Got his first top 10 finish of the season at Martinsville. Finished 10th. He had a 14th at Mesa Marin, a 14th at Homestead. Had struggled at Daytona with a 29th place finish, but Nathan Hosley coming on strong here in his first year driving for Jack Roush.
The racetrack that Nathan has some experience on, finished 5th last year in one of the Rematch Challenge races. There's Lance North. We have not talked about Lance at all. There he is, right behind Nathan Hosley in the 13th position. Doing a great job. Had a great run, a career best 4th place finish this year at Daytona. Doing a super job, I think, in the top 15 in points.
Venus Bearing, the sponsor on Lance Norrick's Chevy. There is Dennis Setzer, who finished 2nd here back in 1999. Started 12th, currently in 14th position. Made that pit stop back around lap 82, 83. Gotta wonder how far he'll be able to make it now on fuel, or will they even attempt to think about stretching?
Jimmy Hensley, the leftbehind.com Chevrolet of Randy McDonald. As we've talked about, Randy's recuperating from neck surgery. Jimmy doing a great job. Can't wait to see Jimmy in this truck at Darlington next week, because I was in a Busch race there one time, and Jimmy set a track record qualifying, so that's a guy that knows how to get around Darlington.
Well, leftbehind.com, he will leave him behind at Darlington if they give him a chance. And Ted Musgrave is the guy they're all chasing. There are 16 trucks on the lead lap. Carlos Contreras in 16th spot, final truck on the lead lap. Musgrave showing the way. Timmy Cahoot watching his driver, Scott Riggs. Back with more from St. Louis in a moment. Here is Terry Cook on the pit road, probably his final stop. Right, Amy?
Well, not because they really expected it this soon. They had just got done saying in about 10 laps they thought he would come down pit lane, but he is saying the thing is sputtering and the fuel pressure gauge is reading almost down to 0, indicating that the truck is nearly out of fuel. So he brings his 29K automotive Ford down pit lane. He'll take right side tires and they will get as much fuel in as they can. Hopefully 2 cans, but yes, they will go for the 2nd can of fuel. He stalls it. He's gotten it fired. They'll give him a slight pit stop, so this is a green flag stop for Terry Cook.
Wow, they only ran about 50 laps, and of course the Ernie Elliott motor they got in there is awfully powerful, and horsepower makes them very thirsty. So you got to wonder if that was way early.
It really was. You got to wonder. Here comes Ted Musgrave, so apparently it wasn't that early. You have to wonder. I was going to say you had to wonder if maybe they didn't get it full on the previous pit stop.
4,002nd gear.
All right, 45 miles an hour. Ted Musgrave, the Mopar Dodge, headed to you, Amy.
Again, according to the calculations that crew chief Fred Wanke had told me, this is early, but they were very concerned when they heard that Cook was out of fuel. The crew was like, are you sure he's out of fuel? Are you sure? When they confirmed he was, they didn't want to take a chance. So they'll now bring their Mopar Dodge down, give him right side tires and 2 cans of fuel. We should be expecting the 2 truck of Scott Riggs, the 24, to also be making their way down pit lane. Great unlap.
Rick Crawford is in, and they're doing right side tires on the number 14 Milwaukee truck, and they've got plenty of gas in it. So now Crawford on his way back. He was running 7 before he pitted. Now also Billy Bigley will bring in the Spears Manufacturing Chevrolet left side tires here, and they're going to get gas also. Bigley said that he had just got a little bit of sputter as he went down the backstretch, so they desperately needed fuel. Lap 124, and Billy Bigley is back on his way out.
Good job, guys.
Joe Ruttman also on his way down pit road right now in the Dana Dodge.
Joe Ruttman brings the 18, the Dana Dodge, a Bobby Hamilton-owned Dodge Ram pickup down.
Putting right side tires on Joe Ruttman's truck. Here comes Jack Sprague down pit road. Amy, what's Jack going to do?
Well, last year's winner is going to take 2 cans of fuel and right side tires for Jack Sprague as he makes his way down 30 miles an hour. He hits his pit stall, and he has 2 cans of fuel now going into his Chevrolet and right side tires, while the 2 truck of Scott Riggs is also in. Right behind him, the Ultra Bad Boys give right side tires and also make sure Scott is fueled up for the rest of this race.
Well, 2 pretty good pit stops, Amy, but a great pit stop by Jack Sprague's crew. They've been having great pit stops. And here's Ricky Hendrick, Ray.
Right side tires for Ricky Hendrick here. Jack Sprague had just come across the radio saying he thought it blew up, but apparently that's not the case. Hendrick will get right side tires and gas.
5,000, 5,000.
You know, I noticed, Jerry, when Jack Sprague was on pit road, it looked like I saw some smoke from under his truck. I thought maybe that was brake smoke, but maybe there is something going wrong with his engine.
Well, Ricky Hendrick heads back on the racetrack. Randy Tolsma is being shown as the leader here. Lap 126, and Tolsma last pitted on lap 73, so we'll see how long he will stay out in the big white truck. And in Sam Renzione's Chevy truck, Tolsma a winner a year ago. And let's check in once again in the Jack Sprague pitch with Amy.
Yeah, Jerry, we just checked in with them. They seem to be slightly concerned about some motor trouble that Jack is complaining of. He says there is a miss in the motor. They are talking it over with him to make sure that he does keep the Net Zero Chevrolet out there, but they are very concerned about some possible motor trouble on the 24 truck.
You know, their last outing at Martinsville, they had engine trouble, which they never have with those B&R motors. They had a valve spring breaking on an exhaust valve, on 2 exhaust valves, and that caused the smoke back up into the intake area. They couldn't get the fuel flow right. He ended up having to park it. He ended up finishing back in 20th position, the first engine failure they've had in a long, long time, the Hendrick Motorsports team. Well, Randy Tolsma showing the way here, and laps are winding down in the Ram Tough 200 at Gateway International Raceway. We'll wait for Tolsma's pit stop when we come back. Back at Gateway International, here is our leader, Randy Tolsma, making what should be his final pit stop in the big white truck. He slows to 45 miles an hour and heads to you, Ray Dunlap.
And, Jerry, that's 4,500 RPMs. They're reminding him, make sure you don't speed. We were the leader. This will be right sides and a can of fuel for Randy Tolsma. As he brings the big white truck in, the crew swings around and they go. The driver says the truck is running great. There will be a slight chassis adjustment here as they're going to go down around on the track bar. Now, Blair Betts, who is the right rear tire changer, was actually involved in a car crash 1 year ago as he was riding with Christian Levendahl. Christian Levendahl lost his life that night, a former crew chief of Mike Skinner. Blair Betts said tonight's race will be dedicated to a memory of a great friend, and boy, how cool would that be if these guys could actually pull off the victory.
That would be awesome. Christian Levendahl, a great friend of so many of us in motorsports. Here is Travis Quapple, who finished second at Martinsville. Very familiar with this racetrack, making his final stop, Amy.
The Cat Reynolds Chevy is coming in for right side tires and fuel. This is their scheduled stop for Travis Quapple to make it for the end of the race. Nice, smooth stop for the team.
Great pit stop for Rick Red and the Mike Addington Cat Rental team for Quapple. Gets him back off of pit road. Carlos Contreras in front of you, Ray.
And, Jerry, this will be right sides here. Carlos said the truck just a little bit loose as he comes off at turn number 4, so they did make an air pressure adjustment here. Carlos down the way after right sides and fuel.
Howard Comstock, the crew chief there, making an adjustment on the air pressure to get Carlos a little bit better shot.
There's our leader, Dennis Setzer. You know, he pitted after the other guys. He pitted on lap about 10 laps later than the other guys on that quick caution flag. So we know Dennis should be able to go a little bit farther than the rest of them did.
Dennis Setzer pitted on lap 82, debuting a brand new crew chief here. Danny Gill joined. That's Danny Gill talking to Dennis Setzer, the Morgan Dollar Motorsports crew chief. Dennis Setzer began the year with Bill Engel. Bill Engel had some other situations developed for him, and he left, and they had the TKO Motorsports crew chief Todd Myers fill in for a couple of races, and now they have hired Danny Gill.
Here, Danny, tell him to come on in. I'm going to change right side tires, 4,300 RPMs.
Coming to you. 4,300 second gear. 4,300 second gear.
All right, he's slowing down Ray for his final stop, headed to you.
Well, they knew they weren't going to be able to go the distance here, Jerry, and had to come back in. You hear those guys remind them over and over to make sure you don't speed down pit road. Very critical here. We do see there is a wedge wrench in the hand of the rear tire carrier, so it looks like a chassis adjustment as they also, well, no, this will be a wedge adjustment on the number 46, right sides, and we'll see how much they put in. About a half a round out, so a wedge adjustment for Dennis Setzer.
4,300 second gear, you clear all around.
All right, Dennis Setzer who finished second here a couple of years ago, gets service from Danny Gill and the Axiom crew, and the leaders have been on and off pit road. There is Ted Musgrave now, cycles back as a lead, and problems for the 99 truck of Nathan Hosley.
Yeah, we wonder if he ran out of gas. I did not see Nathan pit.
But last year, Kurt Busch ran out of fuel here, and he was driving the 99 truck.
We were hearing that he had not pitted yet, so he tried to stretch his fuel mileage just like last year, and unfortunately didn't work.
Now we'll check in the Jack Roush pits and see what happened to Nathan Hosley. 136 laps now in the book. Back with the finish in just a moment. International Raceway, I'm Jerry Punch along with Phil Parsons, Amy Yeast, and Ray Dunlap. Glad to have you on board for the Ram Tough 200, fifth stop of the season in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. There have been many talented people who work behind the scenes and behind the wall in this NASCAR series. Let's hear from one of this in this week's edition of the Craftsman Pit Profile.
It's typical on road courses to have a shifting transmission. Ovals, it's a little bit more different. But here at Gateway, we'll see a lot of drivers shifting. Here with Jeff White with the Dana Dodge, Joe Ruttman will be shifting during the race. Why would you want him to do that? And is there anything different that you would do to the transmission to help him with that?
Here we shift between third and fourth gear, so it'll come off the turns better, yet run on the other end of the straightaways. As far as problems, hopefully it'll actually put a little more work in the transmission, a little more heat, but I believe the transmission and the oils we'll use will be fine.
All right, well, Jeff White seems pretty optimistic that his driver will be fine. And that is this week's Craftsman Pit Profile.
Thank you very much, Amy. He indeed is fine. And there is Joe Ruttman, the Dana Dodge, showing back in 11th position. There are just 11 trucks now being shown on the lead lap. That's how good Ted Musgrave has been today, Phil. And Ruttman is the final truck being shown on the lead lap, but not for long. Take a look just behind him.
Ted Musgrave has been so strong. I can't remember the last time we saw Joe Ruttman get lapped on the racetrack.
Got to wonder if Ted Musgrave hadn't had that overheating problem at Daytona where they cooked the engine and hadn't had the rear end problem at Martinsville, how much he would have dominated this series in the first four events.
Well, he certainly ran well enough in those other two races to have won. And, you know, you mentioned that he won the two races. He didn't have any trouble, so he could have theoretically won every race this year.
There's Nathan Hosley now exiting the pits. Ray, what happened?
Well, out of gas, Jerry, just as you guys had speculated. They said they figured they could go 4 or 5 more laps, and the truck just ran out of fuel. So they told him to fit in any box you could, try to get some fuel from somebody, and get back down here. But that's the problem, no fuel. They fell about 4 laps short.
Tough break for Nathan after that first top 10 finish of the year at Martinsville. Max Jones and the crew there for Roush Racing. Trying to stretch it a little bit too much. And a year ago, we mentioned Kurt Busch was driving this truck, and they ran out of gas here with him just after the 100-lap mark.
Back with our leader, Ted Musgrave. He's pulled out to almost a 9.5-second lead right now.
Musgrave is the leader. Riggs in second spot. Quapple is third. Tolsma fourth. Fifth is Terry Cook. So it is Dodge, Chevy, Ford. That's the top 5.
There's a battle right there for 4th position. Randy Tolsma, the big white truck, as you mentioned, then Terry Cook.
We mentioned at the top of our show that these are the two guys we're looking at for possibly getting their first win. They both have finished in the top 10 in all 4 events this year.
Those guys are driving the wheels off those trucks. You saw Terry back end kick out coming off turn 4. Not far to go. We got 17 laps to go, so Terry wants to see if he can get by Randy Tolsma. That's Travis Quapple in 3rd position right in front of him. So there's 3rd, 4th, and 5th right there.
Let's see if Tolsma makes a move inside of Quapple. Quapple has B&R engines that build engines for Rick Hendrick. Tolsma has Peter Gile, Pro Motor, and behind him Terry Cook has Ernie Elliott power.
They go side by side right now for 3rd position. Randy Tolsma on the inside. Terry Cook's going to try to follow him down into turn 1.
29, son. Stay with him.
Travis hanging in there tough on the outside.
Still down there.
Tolsma finished 3rd here a year ago. Looking for his best finish of the year. He has 2 fifth-place finishes thus far this year. He's 5th in points.
Great battle, great side-by-side battle here. Randy Tolsman, a 61 truck. Travis Kvapil in the 60. Randy's able to clear him. Now he leaves Terry Cook side-by-side with Travis Kvapil. You see Rick Crawford in the red Milwaukee Electric Tool Ford right behind this battle. He's in the 6th position.
Exciting NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action here in the final laps. 15 laps to go at Gateway International Raceway. Tolsman now takes 3rd spot. Cook is 4th. Kvapil trying to get 4th spot back, and here's Crawford back, battling for position for 5th spot. We'll sort it out in the final laps of the Ram Tough 200. They chase Musgrave and Riggs. It's Tolsman, Cook, and Kvapil in the top 5. Back with the final laps of the Ram Tough 200 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action from Gateway International Raceway. Great battle for 3rd position. Tolsma and Cook are just mixing it up back and forth. Cook was inside of Tolsma. Tolsma pulled him on the straightaway. Cook gets back inside. Now they are nose to tail again. The 61 truck is Tolsma. The 29 is Cook. For all the latest news and notes from the world of motorsports and for all the latest from NASCAR trucks, visit rpm.espn.com. The keyword is NASCAR trucks. Updating on what's happening around the world of motorsports, and particularly right here in the Truck Series. And right here, we're seeing a heck of a battle for 3rd position.
Great race. Terry Cook actually went a little bit higher. Dirt tracking the thing off turn 4 a couple laps ago. We mentioned earlier, there's Rick Crawford in the red truck, top of the screen. He was able to get by Travis Kvapil for the 5th position. There you see Rick Crawford on the inside of Lance Norrick. Lance is down a lap right now.
Tolsma trying to get his best finish of the year. Crawford trying to get his best finish of the year. As he, right now, if he were to finish in 5th, it would be his best finish of the season. He was 7th at Martinsville. But they're all chasing this guy. Ted Musgrave has led 5 times for 129 of the 149 laps we have run today in the Ram Tough 200. Back for the final laps in a moment. NASCAR racing on ESPN. We are the exclusive home of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Here in the final 10 laps, Ted Musgrave moves by Larry Gunsman, moves in on Ricky Hendrick. Hendrick in 8th position. There are just 8 trucks on the lead lap. Musgrave the leader, Riggs in 2nd spot. And there had been a torrid battle for 3rd position between Terry Cook and Randy Tolsma, and Cook just finally made the pass.
They battled nose to tail, side by side for a number of laps, and Terry was able to get on the inside going into turn 1, was able to complete the pass. You see, there's Jack Sprague. Our guys in the pits have alerted us. He, in fact, is down a cylinder right now. Ricky Hendrick is passing him 4th position for the 7th position. But in the meantime, Ted Musgrave is putting both of them a lap down.
What a day Ted Musgrave has had on the Mopar Dodge. And here is Jim Engelbreit in the Jelly Belly Chevy. He is slow on the racetrack.
He made it to the access road, the pit road, so that will not necessitate a caution flag. As he's really angry. Unfortunate. Just this close to the end. 8 laps from the end.
Tough break for Engelbreit, who's Jelly Belly Chevrolet making a 2nd start on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series for this 2001 season. Hopes to run 7 or 8 total this year. There's a 2nd place truck, Scott Riggs, Team ASE, CarQuest Dodge. The Ultra Motorsports team, Timmy Cahuth, the crew chief on this truck that won at Martinsville 4 weeks ago. It's the exact same truck.
We've got Randy Tolsma on pit road in the big white truck. This has to be an unscheduled pit stop. Amy?
It's completely unscheduled. He's taking right side tires, no fuel. He must have felt as though he had a tire going down. We're going to investigate this immediately and see what happened to what was going to be an excellent run for Randy Tolsma.
And Tolsma would have finished no worse probably than 4th position, but apparently he had a tire going down. And we are being told now from the pits the right rear was indeed down on Tolsma's truck. Well, a tough break for Randy Tolsma. Meanwhile, the 4th place battle goes to Rick Crawford and Travis Kvapil.
Rick inherited 4th position when Randy came to pit road, and they've had a torrid battle too, nose to tail, side by side for the 4th position right now.
5 laps to go. Rick Crawford, the short track ace. Milwaukee Electric Tools Ford. Ray Stonk is the crew chief. Rick Wynn preparing the 60 for rookie Travis Quaffle. 1 truck length separating these two.
Ray Stonk has told me this morning that they had a pretty good truck with that Milwaukee Electric Tool truck. So, yeah, he certainly, there's Travis Quaffle trying to move to the inside to go side by side, but tucks back in behind him.
Rick Crawford driving for Tom Mitchell, who owns a truck Circle Bar, Motel, and RV Park in Azona, Texas. They're going to be watching this one, jumping up and down, saying, come on, Rick. Possibly going to record his best finish of the year. They get better and better as the weeks go on.
Already in the top 10 points, I think was 9th coming into this race, so he will probably move up with his finish.
10th at Daytona, 8th at Homestead, 7th at Martinsville, and may pull off a 4th place finish. He can hold off Quaffle here today.
Travis is all over Rick Crawford. Looked like he got him a little bit loose coming off too this past time.
3 laps to go here at Gateway International in the Ram Tough 200.
With Ricky Hendrick in the 17 truck, he still maintained the lead lap. Thought before Ted Musgrave was going to be able to put him a lap down, but he has not. He's tucked in behind Ricky Hendrick. Ricky now is the last truck in the lead lap in 6th position.
Jimmy Smith owns the Ultra Motorsports team. Jim and Marlene Smith. Fred Wanke, one of the best in the business when it comes to being a crew chief. 45-year-old Ted Musgrave from Franklin, Wisconsin, dominating the day. He is 2 laps away from the checkered flag and picking up his 3rd win in just 5 starts here in the 2001 season.
Coming to the white.
Looks like the Dodge domination is going to continue, Doc.
Well, they mentioned the rule change may make some changes here, and looks like the Fords were more competitive. The Chevrolets were strong, but no one can run with Ted Musgrave.
Bring her home and get the speed of that Harley-Davidson, pal.
And, of course, by winning from the pole, Craftsman puts up $10,000 for the crew. The Craftsman win from the pole bonus, thanks to the fine folks at Sears Craftsman. So Musgrave is less than a half a lap away from winning the lion's share of a $508,000 purse plus $10,000 from the folks at Craftsman.
One more corner to negotiate. It's all his.
That's the way we do it now. Great job, Teddy. Great job, guys.
And Ted Musgrave takes the win in the Ram Tough 200.
That sound like Jimmy Smith. Ted Musgrave told me last night that Jimmy Smith said anybody that could start in the front row and win the race would get a new Harley-Davidson motorcycle. So it looks like Ted Musgrave's going to be riding.
And the battle for 4th is settled with Rick Crawford beating Travis Quaffle. There comes Tolsma across. He will finish back in 11th spot. So Musgrave takes the win. Rick's is 2nd. Terry Cook is 3rd. Crawford is 4th. Let's go down to the celebration.
Well, that would certainly be with Fred Wanke. Total domination today, buddy. You guys really had them covered. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll tell you what, this is you know, we had a truck similar to this at Nazareth last year and we didn't win, and a couple of years ago with Jimmy Hensley at Louisville and we didn't win. It's just, this team just never gives up. The Dodge people, I mean, they work so hard on the rule change and everything. They went to work right away. Ted, you know, he's just so smooth, so smart. You know, it's this whole team, you know, we didn't get all the gas in it in the one stop, so we had to come back in again. And, you know, I just told Ted, you know, hey, we didn't get all the gas in, bud. He said, I'll take care of it. So it's just unbelievable.
Well, they did take care of it today. Ted Musgrave, a winner once again. Crew chief Fred Wanke, and the celebration will continue. We'll be back to St. Louis Racing after this.
Back here at Gateway International, where the Dodge dominance and the Ultra Motorsports momentum continues. Ted Musgrave showers his crew with Pepsi as he grabs the Craftsman $10,000 bonus for winning from the pole for his 2nd time this year. Oh, man, you guys, we're soaked down here in Pepsi. That was awesome. What a great run here with team owner Jim Smith, who's
luckily enough here to see your driver win in the Truck Series. This is your third victory, second from the pole. You're so smooth. You were shifting one more time than the other drivers out there. What was your key to success here today?
One of them's this guy right here and right here. Here's two of them right here. This is the success right here. You got Jimmy Smith as the owner. You got Ray Richards that heads up this program. Dodge. I mean, this thing's just awesome. And, you know, but again, look back here. These guys put this thing together. They tune it up for me. I ask the first things, and they give it to me. They give it to me right, and that's what makes it there. And I was a little worried at the end there. We weren't sure about fuel mileage, so I got behind Ricky Hendrick and used a draft off of him just to save the fuel, just to be sure, because this guy here just lost a lot of money today because he said if we run 1-2, he's going to buy each us a Harley. So Scott and I got a Harley coming. How about this guy?
What color do you want? That's all I got to say.
It don't matter. Okay. It don't matter.
There you go, you guys. We're going to see some Harleys in the garage area next week.
Want it again.
Wow, the lion's share of a $500,000 purse. There's DJ. And plus $10,000 bonus from Sears for winning from the pole. Take a look at unofficial results as we had 6 trucks finish on the lead lap. Musgrave and Riggs, teammates and Dodges. Then back-to-back Ford finishes with Cook and Crawford, Quapple and Hendrick. 2 Chevrolets in 5th and 6th. Look at 16 through 30.
See Kenny Schrader back there from Richmond last night, finished in the 17th position. Frank Kimmel, 2-time ARCA champ, back in 18th.
And the final finishers 31st through 36. And a much better outing for Ford, right, Ray?
Well, absolutely. And one of those, Rick Crawford. Rick, a top 5 finish. You had a great race today. Tell us about it.
How about that? Had some good finishes this year for the Milwaukee Electric Tool, Circle Bar Motel and RV Park, F-Series Ford pickup. Strong race team. Give me a little bit of help in the 4 weeks we had off, and Talon will be up front. I heard the messages that were sent in Winston Cup scene the other day that the reason the Dodgers was running, the Talent was driving them, and we'll show them today these Fords can run with them too with a little bit of help.
Okay, Jerry, that's Rick Crawford, top 5 finish.
And I got to believe this team will be better and better. Rockin' Ray Stonkus and Rick Crawford getting their best finish of the year for today at Gateway International. We'll be back to wrap it up in just a moment. With a very happy Terry Cook.
Well, he sure is, Jerry, because they posted their 5th top 10 of the season. Another great run, but I want to find out about what the rules change really did to the Fords here today.
You know, like I told everybody earlier, I don't think it made us, that much superior than anybody else. And obviously the Dodges are still extremely fast. But the Ford F-150 was awesome this weekend. I think if anything, we, maybe need a little more front downforce. It seemed like I could run anybody down at will. But as soon as I got to him, it was just a dead push. We had a hard time passing anybody. But, we kind of wore him out, as I say. You just kind of stay in the rearview mirror long enough and you get him too nervous and eventually you're going to get by. But, another great run for the automotive Ford F-150.
Big smile down here, guys, with another top 5.
And let's show you the updated points after 5 of 24 events. Scott Riggs extends his point lead to 75 points over Joe Rutman. Terry Cook is 3rd. Hendrick. Ted Musgrave moves to 5th. Holzman, by virtue of that late pit stop, moves back to 6th spot. Quapple, Sprague, Crawford, and Coy Gibbs hangs on to a top 10 spot in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series points. Well, next time, how about the track too tough to tame? The egg-shaped Lady in Black, Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina, 4 Eastern time next Saturday for the Darlington 200. And Phil, this is a pretty good race here, but we go to Darlington and Pikes Peak, 2 outstanding racetracks here in the month of May.
They certainly are. I cannot wait to see these trucks at Darlington. That will be a fun show to watch.
Well, for Ray Dunlap, Amy East, and Phil Parsons, I'm Jerry Punch. Once again, congratulating Ted Musgrave on his win in today's Ram Tough 200 presented by Pepsi. Remember, we go to Darlington next Saturday, May 12th at 4 o'clock Eastern time for the Darlington 200. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. So long, everyone, from St. Louis.
Luckily enough here at